Chapter 81, Confronting Miznagi, Kirlia. The next morning, Ash and the others arrived at the gym bright and early. Xiaoyao huffed as she climbed the long stairway. Seriously, why does this gym have so many stairs? Miss Nagi, dressed in a flight suit, watched them from above with a smile. Ash, I've been waiting for you. Sorry to keep you waiting, Miss Nagi, Ash said. I'm determined to earn this badge. Good, come with me. Miss Nagi led them into the battle arena and had Ash step onto one lift platform while she took the one opposite. The platforms rose into position to form the command area. It was clearly a battlefield that favored flying-type Pokémon, but although Ash hadn't brought any flying types this time, he had Pokémon that could neutralize them. Once both sides were in place, Ms. Nagi suddenly knelt and prayed with surprising sincerity. Great sky, grant us wings, strong wings that will not be lost to any gale. In this vast blue world, guide us so we may soar and spread our majestic wings. What is she doing? Xiaoyao asked. Probably a pre-battle ritual, Xiaosheng guessed. Xiaogang added, for a flying-type specialist like Miss Nagi, the sky is like a guardian deity. Ladies and gentlemen, the gym battle between gym leader Miss Nagi and challenger Ash of Pallet Town is about to begin, an announcer called. Each trainer may use up to 3 Pokémon. The match ends when one side has no Pokémon left able to fight. Also, only the challenger may switch Pokémon. After the prayer, Miss Nagi's fighting spirit flared. Come out! Altaria! Dragon and flying, huh? All right, Ralts, Nash called. Ralts! Ralts appeared on the field, waving its small hand cheerfully. Altaria spread its cottony wings and rode the wind straight at Ralts. Miss Nagi wasted no time. Altaria! Peck! Ralts, however, teleported away before Altaria could reach it. Seeing an opening, Ash seized it. Since you're coming down, don't go back up. Confusion. Ralts unleashed a surge of psychic energy to control Altaria. Ms. Nagi answered immediately. Dazzling gleam. A burst of pink light struck Altaria, and Ralts was hit by Disarming Voice as well. Because of Altaria's dragon typing, the fairy move hit it especially hard. Altaria faltered. Altaria, sing! It began to sing, but its song was weak compared to the classic lullabies of some other Pokémon. Ash wasn't going to let it work. Ralts, use Safeguard. A shimmering barrier enveloped Ralts, protecting it from being put to sleep. Ralts, teleport and Dazzling Gleam, Ash ordered. Ralts teleported behind Altaria and waved its tiny hand. The Dazzling Gleam burst from it and struck true. Altaria collapsed. Altaria is unable to battle. Ralts wins. Well done, Ralts, Ash praised. Pikachu and Eevee cheered from the sidelines. Ralts waved back happily. Great start for Ash, Xiaoyao crowed. Ms. Nagi recalled Altaria and sent out Pelipper. Ash, that was exciting, but I won't give up. Go, Pelipper. Ralts continued to press the attack. Psybeam. Pelipper met the shimmering beam with a whirlwind of wings. Air Slash. The 2 attacks collided in midair. When Ralts used Draining Kiss, it recovered some energy. Ms. Nagi then took advantage of the battlefield. Pelipper. Ascend. Hydro Pump. Suppress. A giant column of water shot down from the sky as Pelipper flew higher. Ash frowned. If Ralts kept using Teleport to kite, Pelipper could always stay out of reach. They had to force a direct clash. Ralts. Confusion. Control that Hydro Pump. Ralts used its psychic power on the Hydro Pump, trying to disrupt it. Increase the power, Pelipper, Ms. Nagi urged. Ash gritted his teeth. Keep it up, Ralts. Under his encouragement, Ralts poured every ounce of psychic energy into the Hydro Pump and shattered it. At the same time, a blue-white light exploded around Ralts. Evolution. The small, childlike Ralts straightened and transformed into the graceful, taller form of Kirlia. Kier! Kirlia stared intently at Pelipper in the sky. Oh, wow, Ralts evolved. So cute, Xiaoyao exclaimed, tapping her Pokédex to scan it. Pokédex readout, Kirlia strength, superior late-stage moves, calm mind, psychic. Ash smiled with satisfaction. His little companion had grown into a stronger partner. Ms. Nagi was quick to acknowledge it. Congratulations, Ash. But I won't give up. Pelipper, Steel Wing. Pelipper's wings gleamed with a metallic sheen as it dove toward Kirlia. Kirlia Psychic! Kirlia unleashed a powerful psychic blast. The 2 attacks struck each other head-on. When the dust settled, Kirlia was the first to fall, unable to battle. Pelipper, however, was also heavily wounded and barely clung to consciousness. Kirlia is unable to battle. Pelipper wins. You did your best, Kirlia. Ash recalled his Pokémon and sent out Manectric. I choose you, Manectric. Manectric, the electric dog, charged in. Ms. Nagi frowned. Pelipper was badly hurt and at a disadvantage. Let's gamble. Pelipper, Giga Impact. Pelipper launched itself at Manectric with everything it had. Manectric Thunderbolt, Ash called. Blue arcs of electricity danced across Manectric's mane and coalesced into a powerful bolt. It struck Pelipper before it could get close. The paralysis and super-effective shock from the Thunderbolt finished it. Pelipper is unable to battle. Manectric wins. Ms. Nagi recalled Pelipper and composed herself. Ash, your Pokémon are very well trained, she admitted. Then she sent out her ace. Go, Swellow. A green-gold shiny Swellow flashed onto the field, immediately drawing gasps. Oh my gosh, Ms. Nagi actually has a shiny Swellow, Xiaoyao whispered. It was the third shiny Xiaoyao had ever seen, the other two being Ash's Noctowl and Beautifully. Manectric, Electric Terrain. Ash decided to take the field advantage first. Manectric took center and electric energy spread across the battlefield, sparking a golden electric terrain that crackled beneath their Pokémon. To be continued. Chapter 82, White Feather Badge. Depart for LaRousse City. Electric terrain was set, boosting electric-type moves and preventing sleep. Swellow, use Aerial Ace, Ms. Nagi called out. Swellow dove toward Manectric with blinding speed. Ash met the attack head-on. Manectric, run it down with Thunderfang. Manectric streaked forward like lightning, opening its jaws to strike with glowing electric fangs. The two Pokémon collided in midair, then passed each other and returned to their trainers. Swellow, climb fast. Hyper Beam. Swellow rocketed upward and fired a massive Hyper Beam. Manectric, Thunderbolt, Ash shouted. The Thunderbolt, amplified by electric terrain, crashed down with equal fury. The two attacks smashed against each other, leaving the battle in a tense deadlock. Seeing electric terrain was fading, Ash reached for his trump card. Rain Dance, then Thunder. Ms. Nagi's eyes widened. She hadn't expected Manectric to know Rain Dance. It was too late to stop it. Manectric summoned rain over the field, replacing the electric terrain with a torrential downpour. Then Ash called down a devastating thunder. A colossal bolt of lightning tore from the sky and struck Swellow. Swellow, endure that lightning and charge through it. Use Reversal. Swellow took the hit, its body crackling with gold electricity, then dove through the lingering energy and slammed into Manectric with a powerful reversal. Manectric was sent reeling. Ms. Nagi gave an appreciative nod. Well done, Swellow. Xiao Sheng couldn't hide his admiration. As expected from a gym leader, what spirit! Swellow is incredibly tough against electricity. It took a double-powered thunder under boosted electric terrain. Xiao Gang examined the situation. Manectric can't continue. Swellow wins. Ash praised his Pokémon as they returned to their trainers. Manectric, you did great. I miscalculated. He called, You're up, Torkoal. The rain faded, but Torkoal's arrival brought instant sunshine. Its drought ability flooded the battlefield with brilliant sunlight. Sunny day, Ms. Nagi confirmed, smiling. Straight at it, Hyper Beam, Ash ordered. Charge it with Solar Beam, then fire a Fire Blast, Ms. Nagi countered. Under the sunlight, Torkoal gathered solar energy and unleashed Solar Beam, shattering the Hyper Beam. It followed with an enormous column of fire. Ms. Nagi barked, Swellow, break free, agility! Swellow shook off the stiffness and blurred across the field, only to be singed by the flames. Swellow, climb and use Air Slash. Swellow, heavily damaged, soared upward. Clearly Ms. Nagi wanted the fight in the air to wear down the bird. Torkoal, withdraw! Torkoal pulled its head, feet, and tail into its shell. The Air Slash struck hard, but bounced off the shell harmlessly. Torkoal, cover the field. Lava Plume. A wave of black smoke and scalding heat spread across the arena. Take the chance. Swellow, Aerial Ace. Swellow tried, but Torkoal's shell still held. Now finish it. Flamethrower. The searing blast hit Swellow squarely. The bird finally collapsed. Swellow can't battle. Torkoal wins. The winner is the challenger, Ash, the announcer declared. Ash grinned as he recalled his exhausted Pokémon. Yeah, we did it. Great job, Torkoal. Pikachu and Eevee cheered beside him. Torkoal blew out a triumphant puff of smoke. Xiaoyao celebrated too. With this badge, he only needs 2 more to enter the Hoenn League, Xiao Sheng added. Ash and Ms. Nagi stepped down from the elevator platform. Congratulations, Ash. This proves your victory. Take the white feather badge. Ms. Nagi handed him the badge with a warm smile. Thank you for the battle. Ash accepted it and held the white feather badge up. Pikachu, Eevee, and the rest of his team celebrated around him. After the ceremony, Ash returned to the Pokemon Center to heal and make a few team adjustments. His party now stood as Pikachu, Eevee, Bulbasaur, Charizard, Laren, Mudkip, Bagon, Milotic. They originally planned to head to Moss Deep City, next to Challenge for the Greenleaf Badge, but Ash and his friends decided on a detour to LaRousse City first, a famous high-tech metropolis in Hoenn and the hometown of Xiao Yao's rival, Xiao Shun. LaRousse's technologies were among the most advanced in Hoenn and ranked near the top worldwide. Built where two rivers meet on an island, it boasted a large park, a battle tower, a bustling commercial district, and a monorail circling the island. Bridges on either side connected the island to the mainland. For Ash, there was another draw. The Deoxys incident was about to unfold, and a legendary confrontation was looming, Rayquaza versus Deoxys. This time it wasn't a lesser threat. It was a true clash of legendaries. Ash alone could be crucial. His presence and protagonist aura mattered. He also had the Emerald Orb and a Master Ball, and he couldn't hide how much he wanted a shot at Rayquaza. So the four of them boarded the monorail from Junyu City and headed for LaRousse. They stepped off the train into LaRousse City with the wide-eyed wonder of newcomers. "We've arrived at LaRousse City," Xiaosheng cheered as they rode the elevator from the station's second floor down to the exit. A little robot made of 5 hovering cubes zipped over to greet them. "Welcome to LaRousse. Welcome," it chimed. "What a cute welcome robot. This really is a high-tech city," Xiao Yao exclaimed. Xiao Gang grumbled jokingly, "I still prefer being welcomed by beautiful sisters." The cube robot floated in front of Xiao Yao, a camera sliding out from its top cube. "Smile, cheese," it prompted, and a flash caught Xiao Yao's startled expression. It quickly took photos of Ash, Xiaosheng, and Xiao Gang too, uploading the images to the city's management system. One by one, a panel in the robot opened, dispensing several magnetic cards. "These are your city passports. Please carry them while in LaRousse. You can use them for purchases and services here," the robot announced. They each took a passport. Xiao Yao stared at the photo on hers, teary-eyed. "I wish I could take another one," she mumbled, smiling through her tears. They stepped out into the city, the hum of technology all around them and new adventures waiting ahead. To be continued. Chapter 83, Sky-Shattering Visitors. Battle Tower. Where exactly is the Battle Tower? Pika. Eevee. Pikachu and Eevee turned to look toward the Battle Tower with Ash. After arriving in LaRousse City, Ash's first stop was naturally the famous Battle Tower, the best place to gain experience. "Huh? What's this?" Xiao Yao asked, pointing at the moving walkway. Ash explained, "That's an automatic walkway. You can save yourself the trouble of walking." Xiao Yao's small eyes lit up. "So I can reach my destination without walking?" Ash nodded. Just then, 2 boys and a pair of twin girls rode past on the walkway. When they got off, Ash stepped forward and asked, "Excuse me, how do we get to the Battle Tower?" "You must be visiting for the first time," the slightly chubby boy greeted. The handsome boy in the gray uniform added, "If you're heading to the Battle Tower, take this walkway with us." With that, the 4 of them stepped onto another moving walkway and set off. Ash and the others hurried after them. "Hi, I'm Ash from Pallet Town. Are you all going to the Battle Tower? Want to have a battle?" Ash asked the handsome boy. Before the boy could answer, the twin sisters interrupted. "You want to battle Brother A Long? Just so you know, Brother A Long is really strong. Be careful." "You must be Ash then," Along said with a nod. "The Battle Tower's open to everyone. I'll battle you anytime." A girl with purple hair and glasses, clutching a laptop, passed on a high-speed red walkway beside them. "Along, I'll beat you today. Let's do it." Xiao Gang, who had been indifferent to the 2 twin girls, instantly spotted the bespectacled girl he'd been dreaming about. His eyes turned into hearts, and he dashed for the high-speed walkway. "Oh, beautiful lady with glasses, may I?" Before he could finish, Xiao Gang was yanked backward by the ear by Xiaosheng, who was quick to react. Xiao Gang bent over to keep his balance, planting his feet to avoid falling. "That's Miss Xiao Tong," the slightly chubby boy introduced with obvious admiration. "She uses data and tactics. Her Metagross is pretty strong." "Oh, I'm Zhang Tai, and my partner is Blastoise." Xiao Yao and Xiao Sheng introduced themselves in turn. Zhang Tai suddenly leaned toward Xiao Yao, which startled her and made her step back. Zhang Tai awkwardly scratched his head. Sorry, I just thought you seemed kind of cute. Xiao Yao, already flustered, puffed out her cheeks in anger. What do you mean, kind of cute? Do you have no taste? I'm very cute, aren't I, Ash? She looked over at Ash for confirmation. Cute? Xiao Sheng lowered his head. His glasses flashed as he laughed softly. You really don't know anything, do you? Ash didn't want to make Xiao Yao angrier, so he hurriedly nodded. That's right. Xiao Yao is very cute. Exactly. Xiao Yao grinned, folding her arms. Xiao Gang stared at Ash as if the world had turned upside down. Ash could actually flatter girls now? Miracles did happen. Soon they arrived at the battle tower, a tall structure of crystal glass shimmering in the sun. Ash and his 3 companions parted ways with Along and his group. I'll register in the trainer's area first, Ash told them. We'll wait for you in the spectator seats, Xiao Sheng replied, and the group dispersed. As usual, Ash got lost trying to find the registration area. Where is it? He muttered. Pika! Eevee! He wandered into a library section. A small boy with light blue, messy hair hurried past. When Ash approached him for directions, the boy froze, then bolted as soon as he saw Pikachu and Eevee on Ash's shoulders. Ash followed the boy onto an elevator. The boy, terrified at the sight of the Pokémon, kept glancing at them as if expecting them to snap, which led to a baffled exchange between Pikachu and Eevee. Ding! The boy dashed off the elevator first, but was blocked by a staff member wearing a work badge. Are you here for the competition? The boy stammered, trying to explain, but the staffer pushed both the boy and Ash forward and had their IDs scanned. Before they knew it, they were sent up to the battle arena on a lift. Miss Xiaotong arrived moments later, but she was told registrations were already closed. She had no choice but to return to the spectator seats. Click! Ash and the blue-haired boy stepped onto a circular ring surrounded by cheering spectators. Their opponents were Along and Zhang Tai, the same group Ash had met earlier. The referee hovered overhead on a small platform and announced, the first match will be a double battle. Let's hear it for our trainers. On the blue side, Ash from Pallet Town and Xiao Chao from this city. On the red side, Along and Zhang Tai. Ash is already in the match? Xiao Yao's eyes sparkled. Go, Ash! Xiao Tong found a seat in the spectators and sat beside Xiao Gang and the others, sighing. They beat me to it. Xiao Gang immediately stood up. Allow this humble one to join you for a magnificent double battle, he declared in an exaggerated bow. Before anything could happen, Xiao Sheng and his Spinda performed a cheeky double attack and knocked Xiao Gang down, much to the crowd's amusement. So your name is Xiao Chao. Let's do our best together, Ash called to the blue-haired boy. Xiao Chao looked awkward. But I don't have any Pokémon. Ash smiled, unperturbed. That's fine. I'll handle it. We'll fight as a team. Xiao Chao hesitated, so Ash pulled a Pokeball from his belt and handed it to the boy. Here, when I tell you, release it. Just follow my instructions. I'll do my best, Xiao Chao replied. The referee explained the rules. In this double battle, each trainer sends out 1 Pokémon. Work together with your partner. Trainers, please send out your Pokémon. On the red side, Along and Zhang Tai sent out Blaziken and Blastoise, powerful final forms of starter Pokémon, their strength clearly at mid-gym level. On the blue side, Ash and Xiao Chao prepared to respond. Ash, go, Ash called. Bulbasaur, I choose you. Donna, Bulbasaur leapt from its Pokeball onto the battlefield. Xiao Chao, now, Ash prompted. Xiao Chao threw the Pokeball Ash had handed him. Bang! A metal-skinned Pokemon burst out. Lairon stood ready, heavy armor clanking. The referee announced, Pokemon are in position. The match officially begins. Blaziken, start with Flame Kick on Bulbasaur, Along barked. Lairon, use Iron Defense to protect Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, use Sunny Day. Ash commanded, taking charge of both his Pokemon and directing Xiao Chao's Lairon. Lairon planted itself in front of Bulbasaur, bracing and forming an Iron Defense wall just in time to partially absorb Blaziken's Flame Kick. Bulbasaur launched a small, shining orb upward. The sky cleared and sunlight intensified. Sunny Day took effect. Sunny Day changed the flow of the battle. Fire-type moves like Blaziken's would be stronger in the bright sun, water-type moves like Blastoise's would be weakened, and grass-type moves like Bulbasaur's Solar Beam could now be fired without charging. The advantages and disadvantages shifted, and in this case, the sun favored Ash's strategy. Wow, Trainer Ash is actually directing 2 Pokemon in a double battle, the commentator exclaimed. Let's see how he handles this. To be continued. Chapter 84, The Visitor from the Sky. The steel behemoth sweeps the field. Jiang Tai decided he had seen enough. He exchanged a look with Along and barked, Blastoise, Hydropump on Lairon. Along, Blaziken, Flamethrower on Bulbasaur. Along shouted back, Bulbasaur, Solar Beam, Lairon, Dragon Pulse. Jiang Tai ordered. Bulbasaur and Lairon answered in unison, golden light and green dragon energy streaking from them to meet the twin pillars of fire and water. A thunderous explosion of steam and smoke filled the arena. Bulbasaur, Leech Seed on Blastoise. Lairon, Rock Tomb on Blaziken. Jiang Tai cried. A small seed shot from Bulbasaur and latched onto Blastoise's feet, draining its stamina. Lairon conjured massive stones to pin Blaziken in place. Along remained unfazed. He nodded to Jiang Tai. Blastoise, Rapid Spin, break the trap. Blastoise retracted into its shell and began to spin so fast the leech seed was shredded away. The spinning shell slammed into the rocks and scattered them, freeing Blaziken. Blaziken, jump and low sweep Lairon, Along ordered. Blastoise, double water gun to stop Bulbasaur from supporting. Jiang Tai shouted. Water shot out in twin streams, entangling Bulbasaur and holding it fast. The crowd roared at the teamwork. Wow, Along and Jiang Tai are coordinating, trying to take down Lairon first by exploiting its weaknesses. Ash, however, remained calm. Lairon, gather your strength. Heavy slam. Lairon glowed with metallic light and barreled into Blaziken. The two slammed together with a deafening crash, and the audience watched, breathless. Lairon, evolve. Sweep the field. Aggron. Ash commanded. With a final surge of force, Lairon drove Blaziken back. Blue-white light enveloped its body as it evolved. Its size ballooned. It rose up onto two legs and became enormous, nearly 3 meters tall, far larger than a normal Aggron. Blaziken looked small beside it. Ash smiled. Lairon had been on the brink of evolution, and under the pressure of the fight it had finally broken through. Moves, Metal Burst, Dragon Claw, Stone Edge. It evolved. Along's Blaziken couldn't stop it. He actually helped it evolve into a massive steel beast. Aggron, yelled the announcer. Ash's eyes burned with fighting spirit as he faced Along and Jiang Tai. Bulbasaur, Vine Whip to disrupt them. Aggron, Dragon Rush. Bulbasaur lashed out with twin vines, interrupting the enemy's moves. Aggron hummed with dragon energy and with a single charge knocked both Blaziken and Blastoise away. Quick, dodge! Blaziken, Blastoise, someone shouted. Final blow, Bulbasaur's Solar Beam. Aggron, Stone Edge, Ash ordered. Bulbasaur's Solar Beam flared to life. Aggron slammed a hand down, sending jagged stones shooting up to strike both opponents. The arena erupted in another explosion of dust and debris. When the smoke cleared, Blaziken and Blastoise were both at the edge of the ring, battered and unable to continue. The referee blew his whistle. The winner has been decided. Blaziken and Blastoise are both unable to battle, so Xiaozhi wins. The referee overlooked Xiao Chao, who had been standing off to the side and never really fought. Wow! Ash's Aggron split the opposition like a steel behemoth and swept the field, securing the victory with that final blow, the announcer cried. The crowd erupted into applause. Ash! Ash! Cheers filled the hall as the audience clapped wildly. Xiao Yao whooped. Xiao Chao, who had really done nothing in the match, looked awkward standing next to Ash. Ash recalled Bulbasaur and Aggron, then grinned at Xiao Chao. How was that? Pokemon battles are pretty awesome, right? Xiao Chao said nothing. After the match, Ash and Xiao Chao left the arena. In the hall, a man and a woman came running up to them. Dad, why are you here? Xiao Chao asked the man in surprise. The man looked relieved. You've finally been able to interact with Pokemon? No, there was a misunderstanding, Xiao Chao blurted, then turned and fled. The man, Dr. Lund, watched his son go and then invited Ash to join him for afternoon tea, probably to talk about Xiao Chao. Soon Xiao Gang and 2 others arrived and joined them in the lounge. Introductions revealed that the woman accompanying Dr. Lund was his assistant, Yuko. After hearing that Ash and Xiao Chao had only formed a team by misunderstanding, Dr. Lund excused himself for work, leaving Yuko, Ash, and the others to chat. Xiao Gang's eyes lit up at the chance to impress. So you're Dr. Lund's assistant. To be a doctor's assistant at such a young age, you must have a bright future. If you don't mind, Xiao Sheng's practiced ear-twisting maneuver interrupted him. All right, you'll just have to be content being a breeder, he said with a smirk. Yuko turned to Ash. Sorry about all this, Ash. Ash waved it off. No problem. But is Xiao Chao really afraid of Pokemon? Yuko sighed. Yes. When he was little, he had a terrible experience with Pokemon. He's been afraid ever since. It's not that he dislikes them, it's fear. I really think he just needs the right opportunity to get past it. Moved by his story, Ash and the others decided to help Yuko find Xiao Chao and help him overcome his fear. Thank you all, Yuko said gratefully. They split up to search. It was, of course, Ash who found Xiao Chao first. He spotted him on a street corner, helping a minion whose tail had gotten trapped in the lid of an automatic trash can. After freeing the minion, it scampered over to thank him and then hopped toward Xiao Chao as if to jump into his arms. The sight was too much for Xiao Chao. He bolted in panic, leaving the two little Pokemon staring after him in confusion. Ash saw him run and gave chase. To be continued. Chapter 85, The Visitor from the Sky. Deoxys arrives. Ash followed Xiao Chao into a botanical garden. Xiao Chao produced a passport with practiced ease, swiped it at the gate, and led them to the bank of a small stream. Hey, are you there? Come out and talk to me, he called. A pale green, diamond-shaped energy form surfaced on the water and floated toward him. The energy diamond twisted and shimmered as if greeting him. Let me tell you, I rescued a Pokemon just now. It was stuck in a trash can, and I even had a battle. I didn't give commands, but Ash, my partner, is really strong. Xiao Chao chatted to the diamond as if it were an old friend. The diamond listened silently. Ash, who had been following quietly, saw it too. He knew what it really was, the essence of the legendary Deoxys. He glanced up through the glass of the conservatory and saw a violet aurora streaking across the sky. Another Deoxys was descending. The small green diamond suddenly noticed Ash, vanished in an instant, and the aurora faded with it. Who? Xiao Chao blinked when the diamond disappeared, sensing someone else had arrived. Ash stepped out reluctantly and asked, Was that your friend just now? None of your business. Xiao Chao snapped, storming out of the garden. Ash hurried after him and managed to coax him into joining them for dinner. Eventually, Xiao Chao agreed. They met up with Xiao Gang and the others and held a picnic in the park. Xiao Gang showed off his cooking skills and produced a hearty stew. After a taste, he nodded in satisfaction. This tastes good. Everyone eat up. Good food fills the body and the spirit. So good. Ash and the others dug in. The aroma soon attracted nearby Pokemon. Generous as ever, Xiao Gang prepared Pokemon food for them too. Ash encouraged Xiao Chao to come watch the Pokemon eating and try petting them. Pikachu and Eevee nudged forward, curious, and even took a liking to Xiao Chao. He reached out as if to touch them, but then pulled back and ran off, flustered. The others sighed fondly. When they returned to the picnic, they found a Munchlax had already wolfed down the rest of the food. Ah, my dinner! Xiao Yao shouted. Munchlax bolted. Plusle and Minun arrived moments later. Pikachu happily shared their food. The two cheered and stuck close to Xiao Chao, apparently smitten. That night, everyone stayed at the Pokemon Center. On the balcony, Xiao Tong, Along, Zhangtai, Xiao Chao, and the twin sisters gathered to watch the violet aurora reappear. Xiao Chao produced cookies Yuko had made, some shaped like Pokemon, and everyone praised them. Holding a laptop, Xiao Tong frowned. Auroras shouldn't appear here. They're normally confined to very cold regions, near the poles. Xiao Gang, ever the show-off, struck a pose. Miss Xiao Tong, you're more beautiful than the aurora. Please analyze me with that camera. Xiao Sheng and Spinda dragged Xiao Gang away, leaving everyone laughing. Later, they released their Pokemon on the lawn and played together late into the night, friendships forming and strengthening. What they didn't know was that on the outskirts of the city, an alien-like Pokemon had touched down on top of a tall tower. It split into countless copies and scanned the area. After the scan, it unleashed widespread havoc. Electronics failed, and many Pokemon suddenly lost the ability to battle. It was Deoxys. Far above in the ozone layer, Rayquaza sensed the disturbance and streaked toward the city. The next morning, Xiao Chao planned to take his new friends back to the botanical garden to introduce them to his special companion. A square security drone buzzed by. Please present your passport. Xiao Chao explained. This place is close to my father's Yamako Research Institute. Security robots patrol here often. He handed over his passport, and they entered. At the stream, the pale green diamond materialized again, spinning and shimmering with obvious delight at seeing Xiao Chao. "What is that?" Zhang Tai asked. "It's beautiful," Xiao Yao said. To her, it looked like a cluster of stars from deep space. "I can call it whenever I want," Xiao Chao said proudly. The others released their Pokémon to meet it. An alarm screeched. The green diamond vanished. "Oh no, something's wrong. Hurry," Xiao Chao cried. They rushed to the garden entrance, but when Xiao Chao tried to scan his passport, the system failed. The security tech had glitched. High technology was handy, but when it failed, it became a trap. "No, we have to get out," someone shouted. "I'm counting on you, Agron." Roar! Agron braced itself and used heavy slam to smash through the garden gate. The group tumbled out just as a beam of light descended from the sky. Agron raised its body and held iron defense to shield everyone from the strike. The sky above darkened with deoxys, dozens, then hundreds, blocking out the light. They descended in swarms, grabbing humans and Pokémon and carrying them off to unknown destinations. "Don't be afraid. These are duplicates. Mass-produced deoxys. They're not very strong, so you all get out first. I'll cover the rear," Ash barked. "But there are so many," Xiao Yao protested, looking up at the waves of deoxys with a shiver. "Leave it to me," Ash said, throwing 2 more Pokeballs. Bulbasaur and Charizard appeared with their battle cries. Pikachu and Eevee leapt forward as well. Xiaogang took a deep breath and nodded. Ash was right. He pulled everyone together and began retreating toward the Yamako Research Institute, glancing back anxiously to make sure Ash was still holding the line. To be continued. Chapter 86. The Visitor from the Sky. Bulbasaur's Choice. Rayquaza. Facing the surge of Deoxys clones, Ash shouted, "Everyone, move out." Without waiting for orders, Charizard surged forward, claws flashing green as it slashed through a clone with a single swipe. It roared and blasted a pillar of fire that incinerated several more. Pikachu crackled Thunderbolt across the battlefield, while Eevee set up Nasty Plot and pressed the attack. Bulbasaur sent wave after wave of Razor Leaf, and Agron fired off Hyper Beam. Together they cut down many clones, but it was a drop in the ocean compared to the endless tide of Deoxys. Seeing Xiaogang and the others fall back to safety, Ash decided not to waste time fighting the clones themselves. The real target was the Deoxys' main body. He reached for Charizard's Mega Evolution Stone and Agron's Mega Evolution Stone to toss them to those two when a Deoxys clone, sensing the move, latched on with Psychic and snatched the stones out of midair. "What? No," Ash's heart lurched. This was a wake-up call. Opportunities to power up weren't guaranteed. Bulbasaur wrapped its vine around one stone and held fast, snarling to keep the clone from taking it. "Good job, Bulbasaur," Ash called. Bulbasaur strained, pulling with everything it had. The other Pokémon were pinned down and couldn't help. With no choice, Ash leaped in to pull alongside Bulbasaur. More Deoxys clones noticed and surged into ambush. "Let go! Bulbasaur, dodge!" Ash yelled as the attacks closed in. Instead of retreating, Bulbasaur pushed Ash back and stepped forward, resolute. The next instant, a blast of energy and a cloud of dust filled the air. "Bulbasaur!" Pikachu, Eevee, Charizard, and the others cried out. When the smoke cleared, a massive Venusaur stood where Bulbasaur had been. Its eyes were narrowed, and with a sweep of its enormous vines, it ripped the Mega Evolution Stones free and returned them to Ash. He fumbled to catch them, stunned. "Bulbasaur, you evolved?" Venusaur gave a low, confident growl and nodded. Bulbasaur, who had always resisted evolving, had forced a double evolution, skipping the middle stage, to protect Ash. Ash's voice was choked with relief. "Venusaur, thank you." Moves: Petal Blizzard, Petal Dance, Growth, Synthesis, Frenzy Plant. Ash breathed easier seeing Venusaur's data. The 2 consecutive evolutions hadn't left any ill effects. Clearly, Bulbasaur's foundation had been strong enough. "All right, it's your turn, Venusaur." Ash activated the system and took a Venusaur Mega Evolution Stone from his inventory. The universal ring lit up. Mega Evolution! Venusaur glowed as the Mega Evolution connected. Mega Venusaur appeared. Ability: Thick Fat. Strength: Quasi-Heavenly King initial stage. "Go, Venusaur, sweep them with those vines." "Frenzy Plant, clear the path," Ash ordered. Mega Venusaur's 4 massive vines swept through the swarm of Deoxys clones. It stomped, and giant vines burst from the ground, shredding the clones and carving a safe corridor. "Return, Venusaur! Agron!" Ash called, recalling both Pokémon. Pikachu and Eevee hopped back onto his shoulders, while Charizard landed and let Ash climb on. Together, they chased after Xiao Gang and the others, pursuing the lead. High above the city, Rayquaza descended with its gaze fixed on Deoxys's true form. 4 years of anger burned in its eyes. 4 years earlier, Rayquaza's Hyper Beam had shattered Deoxys's purple core and sent it into a long recovery. A green cored counterpart still hadn't recovered and remained confined to a limited energy form. Elsewhere, Xiao Chao had led the others to Dr. Lund's Yamako Research Institute. On the way, they passed fleeing Plusle and Minoon. Inside the institute, Yuko rushed out to greet them and said Dr. Lund had been with Officer Jenny. He had been worried about Xiao Chao getting caught in the evacuation and had been searching for him. A moment later, Ash arrived, riding Charizard. "Ash!" everyone exclaimed, relieved to see him unharmed. Xiao Yao hugged Ash so tightly he froze for a second before patting her on the head. "I'm fine," he assured her. Xiao Yao blushed and stepped back, head down, embarrassed but relieved. By then, Rayquaza had already eliminated all of the Deoxys clones it could reach. Deoxys realized it was outmatched and formed a massive psychic barrier, wrapping Larousse City in a protective shield that pinned Rayquaza outside. It then sent out a few more clones to search for its remaining companion. No matter how Rayquaza attacked, it couldn't break through the barrier. At the same time, Larousse City's power grid and communications had been severely damaged. All signals to the outside were cut off. Even Pokeballs wouldn't open. Ash tried to recall Venusaur with a ball and found it unresponsive, sighing in frustration. Fortunately, his two strongest Pokémon, Pikachu and Charizard, were still with him, and with Eevee he still had a fighting chance. Back at the Institute, the mood was grim. Everyone was hungry, and there was no food. The system's store stocked Pokémon items, not human provisions. Ash did find a few edible berries in the system, sweet berries, and traded for enough to share. "I've got a few sweet berries to tide you over," Ash said, handing them out. "There was a vending machine outside when I came in. I'll go check it." "Wow, sweet berries! Thank you, Ash," everyone said gratefully as they shared the berries. Ash rode Charizard back out and located the vending machine, but a cluster of Deoxys clones appeared. He ordered Charizard to move it while Pikachu and Eevee covered them with Thunderbolt and Thundershock. Under their protection, Ash dragged the vending machine back to the Yamako Research Institute. Seeing Ash return with the vending machine, everyone let out a cheer. To be continued. Chapter 87, The Visitor from the Sky. The Green Core Deoxys is revived. The twin sisters cheered and stepped forward, holding out their passes to scan them, but the vending machine didn't respond. "It won't open," one of them cried. "It's out of power. Pikachu, can you help?" Ash asked helplessly. Pikachu tapped his small chest confidently and let out a tiny spark. The vending machine hummed to life, and to everyone's surprise, all the food dropped out at once. After they ate and drank their fill, the group gathered to talk. Ash led off, steering the conversation toward the core issue. Deoxys is capturing humans and Pokémon, but it doesn't seem to want to hurt them. The important thing is to figure out why it's doing this. As expected, Xiao Tong answered without hesitation. "I think I can explain. The light green energy form that Xiao Chao showed us has a wavelength very similar to the purple aurora. There has to be a connection." Yuko's expression changed as the pieces fell into place. The Deoxys with the purple core was almost certainly searching for the meteorite Dr. Lund had recovered 4 years ago. She led Ash down to the underground lab, where a pale green core lay waiting. When Xiao Chao's light green energy appeared near it, the energy streamed out of the core, confirming everyone's suspicion. This was a Deoxys core. The purple core Deoxys had come looking for it. If it found the core, it would stop. Their top priority now was to revive and rescue it. Dr. Lund had already designed a rescue device, but with the city's power out, it couldn't be run. "The emergency backup can't supply enough power to start the equipment," Yuko said, worry in her voice. "As for the power, leave it to us. Right, Pikachu?" Ash held up Pikachu. Pikachu nodded. "Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Pikachu!" Pikachu channeled a golden current into the machine. Plusle and Meenan hopped forward and added their own sparks. The machine flickered, but the power was still insufficient. "Everyone, step back. Pikachu and I are going to try a big move," Ash announced. He pulled an electric Z crystal from his bag and fixed the Z ring to Pikachu's paw. Pikachu, do you trust our bond? Pika. Pikachu pounded his chest eagerly, as if the question was absurd. Ash placed his cap on Pikachu's head, activating the Z ring with the crystal. A resonance flared between them, and the electric Z crystal transformed. It became the Ash Pikachu Z crystal, a unique crystal born of their bond. It wasn't something sold in stores. It could only be formed between Ash and his partner. All out, Pikachu, Ash cried. Pikachu! Pikachu's eyes blazed. Together they moved in perfect synchronization. 1,000,000-volt thunderbolt. That's not enough. Even stronger. Our full power. Pikachu, 10,000,000-volt thunderbolt. Pikachu leapt and unleashed a blazing, multicolored 10,000,000-volt thunderbolt that surged into the rescue machine. Alarms blared as the equipment registered an overload. Yuko's face went white for a moment. Then she steadied herself and began adjusting the controls, flipping switches without hesitation. 4 beams of light shot from the machine into the green core. The light swelled and intensified until it erupted into dazzling energy. The core shuddered, and then the Deoxys was revived. The lab flooded with green light. Ability Early Mythical Pokémon. Moves: Psycho Boost, Recover, Cosmic Power, Psychic. Outside, Rayquaza, furious, had finally broken through a shield with a hyper beam and charged into the fray, determined to settle the matter himself. Rayquaza and the Purple Core Deoxys were already locked in a brutal fight. As mythical Pokémon, their stamina was enormous. They could battle for days. But Larousse City's technology couldn't take their clash. If their fight continued, the city would be devastated. Go to your companion, Xiao urged the newly revived Deoxys with a gentle smile. The green Deoxys used psychic power to lift Ash and Xiao and carry them toward the Purple Core Deoxys. By the time they reached the battlefield, Rayquaza had been brought low, and the purple Deoxys had condensed a gigantic, multicolored energy sphere to finish the job. The green Deoxys set Ash and Xiao down and suddenly transformed into its defense form, throwing itself in front of the energy ball. The blast struck and buried the green Deoxys and Rayquaza beneath rubble. Deoxys! Xiao cried out. Don't worry, Ash said, though he forced a calm he didn't feel. He studied the 2 Pokémon closely. Both Deoxys, Purple Core and Green Core, showed stats characteristic of early mythical Pokémon. Rayquaza looked young. Its battle experience was lacking. Being knocked down by an early-stage mythical Pokémon indicated that it hadn't learned its signature move, Dragon Ascent, the move Rayquaza needs to Mega Evolve. Rayquaza, Dragon Flock, rank mid-mythical Pokémon, moves Hyper Beam, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Dance, Extreme Speed, Dynamax-type Dragon. The Purple Core Deoxys snapped out of its fury when it realized its companion had returned and blocked the attack. It emitted a searching purple wave. A green response pulsed back from under a slab of Megastone, and the purple Deoxys dove down. In an instant, the 2 Deoxys rose into the sky and shifted back to their normal form. 2 brothers reunited after 4 years apart. Above them, the green and purple auroras merged into one dazzling display, painting the sky over Larousse City in breathtaking color. Only Ash seemed to notice and appreciate it. For the Deoxys, the aurora was simply a form of communication. They were already exchanging signals. But the reunion wasn't peaceful for long. Rayquaza, enraged that the green Deoxys had interfered to save him, burst free from under the rubble and roared. It unleashed a massive hyper beam at the 2 Deoxys. The brothers immediately shifted into defense form and took the hit. They didn't want to fight anymore now that they had found each other. Instead, they fled, circling above the city with Rayquaza in hot pursuit. Their aerial maneuvers kept the Deoxys themselves largely unharmed, but Rayquaza's continuous assaults tore through Larousse City's structures. Buildings crumbled under the strain. "Stop it, both of you," Ash shouted, watching helplessly as the city was destroyed around them. To be continued. Chapter 88, Rayquaza's Visitor, Kidnapping a Legendary and Taking it all. "Charizard, I'm counting on you," Ash shouted. Charizard answered with a roar as they flew into the heart of the battle. If they didn't stop this now, the city would be ruined. From the air, Ash could see the 2 Deoxys and Rayquaza locked in a brutal clash. He had to rely on the Deoxys. 2 other legendaries were the only hope he had against Rayquaza. Ash called out, "Deoxys, please lend me your strength, or the city will be destroyed." The two Deoxys exchanged a quick look. They'd been on the run and needed to beat Rayquaza to escape its pursuit. Rayquaza was a proud dragon. Only absolute power earned respect. They nodded. Overjoyed, Ash grinned. "Great, I'll call you Green and Purple so I don't get them mixed up." The Deoxys didn't mind the names. Humans had named their kind long ago. "Let's go," Ash cried, fired up. If he wanted to catch Rayquaza, this fight was everything. Rayquaza wasted no time. It unleashed ancient power and summoned a hail of megastones to strike. "Green, defense form. Set up light screen," Ash ordered. "Purple, attack form. Ice beam, now." Green shifted into the defense form and raised a light screen to block the barrage. Purple condensed an ice beam and fired, but it had used Psycho Boosts earlier and its special attack was weakened. Otherwise, that super effective hit would have done even worse. "Both of you, speed form, teleport and Zen headbutt," Ash barked, giving no time for Rayquaza to react. The Deoxys blinked out and then struck with lightning speed. Rayquaza answered with a furious hyper beam, but the two Deoxys teleported away and the beam missed. The Zen headbutts landed solidly. Angered by the slippery Deoxys, Rayquaza spun and fired a 360-degree hyper beam. Green and Purple dodged with more teleports. "Purple, defense form, Mirror Coat, protect Green," Ash shouted. Green, Calm Mind, then switched to attack form and Psycho Boost at full power. They obeyed. Purple folded into defense form and mirrored the hyper beam back with Mirror Coat, amplifying its power. Green steadied, used Calm Mind to raise its special attack, transformed into attack form, condensed a massive colored energy sphere, and hurled it at Rayquaza. Rayquaza countered with Dragon Pulse, but it was overwhelmed by the returning hyper beam and the boosted Psycho Boost. The Dragon Pulse shattered. Rayquaza erupted in smoke and let out a pained roar. Through the dust it lunged with a crunch, biting down on Purple and dealing a heavy blow. Purple staggered, injured. "Purple, recover! Green, defense form, protect!" Ash snapped. Green shifted to shield Purple while Purple used recover. Once Purple was back on its feet, Ash thought fast. "Both of you, speed form. Close in, then switch to defense form and pin Rayquaza down." Ash knew the Deoxys alone might not be enough. He needed one more ace. "Pikachu, I'm counting on you," he called. Pikachu hopped up onto Charizard's head, crackling with extra energy, bursting into a phenomenal form Ash had seen before. Ash tossed his cap to Pikachu. The mouse caught it in midair. "All out, Pikachu, activate the Z-Ring." Ash and Pikachu fell into the synchronized routine they'd practiced. "Million volt? No, stronger. Our super full power. Pikachu, 10 million volt Thunderbolt." Pikachu launched into the air. The wind shifted, thunder rolled, and the sky split as colored electricity gathered around it. "Pika! Pika!" It unleashed the 10 million volt Thunderbolt. The beam hammered toward Rayquaza, which writhed to dodge, but Green and Purple had it controlled. The thunderous blast slammed into the three legendaries. There was an explosive boom. Smoke and dust swallowed the battlefield. When the air cleared, all three Pokémon lay battered on the ground. The two Deoxys quickly used Recover to heal themselves. Rayquaza had no time, only rage, as it glared at the electric mouse that had blasted it. Ash rode Charizard down and stood before the wounded Rayquaza. "So, want to be my partner?" he asked. Rayquaza roared in fury. "A human? No, how dare a human try to capture the god of the sky?" Ash offered more. "I can teach you your exclusive move, Dragon Ascent," he said. Rayquaza barely blinked. It could learn Dragon Ascent on its own sooner or later. Ash reached into his pocket and produced an emerald orb. The moment Rayquaza saw it, its disdain turned into hunger. Dragon Ascent was one thing, but the emerald orb, for the Rayquaza line, it might be the key to breaking through to divine status, becoming more than a legendary, a true deity. Ash held the orb up. "Think about it." Rayquaza stared at the emerald until greed overcame its pride. Normally, it would have seized the orb by force, but after that brutal blast and now facing a so-called pseudo-elite electric mouse, it hesitated. The chance to attain a divine position for however long a human life lasted was too tempting. With a thundering roar, Rayquaza agreed to Ash's terms. It would become Ash's Pokémon during his lifetime and depart only after his life ended. What Rayquaza didn't know was that by boarding Ash's team, it had stepped onto a pirate ship with no way back. In time, it would not regret its choice. Ash turned to the two Deoxys. They were visitors from the stars, drifting alone for so long that they'd become companions to each other. Do you two want to be my partners? You could have a group, a home. If you ever want to go, I won't stop you. Green and Purple exchanged a long, quiet conversation. They were tired of endless drifting. The command rapport they'd built with Ash in the fight had given them some trust. Finally, they nodded yes. Ash nearly split his smile in two. He'd done it. 3 legendaries. He pulled out 2 Ultra Balls and 1 Master Ball. Become my partners, Deoxys, Rayquaza. The capture clicks echoed in his ears. Even knowing it would work, Ash felt a thrill as the balls sealed. I caught Deoxys and Rayquaza, he cried, while Pikachu, Eevee, and Charizard cheered in their own ways. Something odd happened. Ash noticed the Master Ball hadn't taken up a Pokémon slot in his system. It was free of the usual Pokeball management constraints. He sent Aggron and Venusaur back. If he had brought Green and Purple to Professor Oak's lab, he'd probably have frightened him. Out! Rayquaza! Green! Purple! Ash called. Rayquaza erupted from its ball with a reverberating roar. The 2 Deoxys materialized silently beside it. Ash handed Rayquaza the Emerald Orb. It absorbed the gem into its chest with a gleam. With the 3 legendaries safely added to his team, Ash returned to LaRousse City. The townspeople breathed easier when they saw him land. They'd seen the start of the fight, but lost sight of the rest. Ash's safe return was all the assurance they needed that the crisis was over. No one asked about Rayquaza and the Deoxys in detail. In their hearts, the pride of legendaries was too strong to believe a human could really capture them. Surely, they had only returned to the stars. To be continued. Chapter 89, Slakoth Banana Paradise. After the great battle between legendary Pokémon, the hike LaRousse City began its reconstruction. Xiao Chao, having resolved his inner conflict, became partners with Plusle and Meenan. Xiaozhi's group said their goodbyes to Xiao Chao, Along, and the others, and left LaRousse City to continue their journey. Xiaozhi heard the familiar chime, and his eyes lit up. The rewards from this achievement system were generous. Ding completed the Visitor of the Sky achievement. Reward, Intermediate Rare Candy X10, High-Grade Rare Candy. Completed the Legendary Pokemon Trainer achievement. Reward, Special Item, Ability Modification Card 1, Ability Overlay Card 1. Ability Modification Card can change a Pokemon's ability to any ability. Ability Overlay Card can give a Pokemon an additional ability. Note, unchangeable abilities cannot be overlaid or modified, e.g., Xiaozhi breathed out in surprise. He had made a fortune on this trip. The rare candies and those 2 ability cards were invaluable. He counted his gains, 3 legendary Pokemon, piles of rare candies, and the ability cards. Pikachu, perhaps pushed by that surge of potential, had also broken through to the top of the superior rank and learned the partner move, Floating Fall. With a bit more stability and another intermediate rare candy, Pikachu could become Xiaozhi's first elite Pokemon besides the legendaries. Floating Fall floats upward like a frillish, then plunges down with force to attack, may cause the opponent to flinch. After leaving LaRousse City, they planned to travel to Lily Cove City and then take a water route to Moss Deep City to challenge the Green Leaf Gym. On the road, a huge sign caught their attention. It's Slakoth, Xiao Sheng exclaimed. Slakoth Banana Paradise? Xiao Gang flipped through the tourist guide. The guide says Slakoth Banana Paradise is a rare attraction that gathers a large number of Slakoth, he read. Only Slakoth? Amazing. Xiao Sheng's eyes gleamed. Senri's ace was a slaking, and he loved Slakoth and slaking. He'd been dying to see one in person. Let's go in and check it out. I want to see Slakoth Banana Paradise. No, I object, Xiao Yao said at once. We still have to stop in the next town for cake. The two began to bicker. Xiao Sheng refused to be denied, and Xiao Yao insisted on dessert. Xiao Ji stepped between them with a light punch to Xiao Sheng's arm, stopping the argument. Xiao Gang, flipping the guidebook, added, "It also says one of the park's features is a variety of banana desserts." Banana desserts. Those words made Xiao Yao's eyes sparkle. Banana cake, banana pudding, banana sundaes. She trailed off dreamily. Okay, it's decided. We're going to Slakoth Banana Paradise. They followed the signs to the park. It was vast and strangely deserted. The main gate was closed, and there wasn't a single visitor in sight. That's odd, Xiao Gang said. The guide said it's open today. The gate wasn't locked. Xiaoyao pushed it open and marched in. "I won't give up on banana desserts," she declared. They walked down a lane lined with banana trees, but it felt strangely empty. There were no Slokoth in sight, and, stranger still, the banana trees held almost no fruit. As always, trouble seemed drawn to them. While other travelers went long stretches without incident, every place Xiaozhi and his group visited turned into a magnet for chaos. If anyone tallied it up, they'd probably be blacklisted in every town. They had taken only a few steps into the park when the ground began to tremble. A booming voice, actually a large voice, was heard, and an uncle in a work uniform came running. Seeing them safe, he sighed in relief. "Guests, it's dangerous here. Come with me." He led them indoors, and Xiaosheng admitted in shaking tones, "That quake just now scared me to death." "No, that wasn't an earthquake," the uncle said, guiding them to a window. "That was this." Outside in the banana grove, a huge, fluffy Snorlax lay sprawled, sound asleep. Only then did they realize the quake had been Snorlax turning over. The uncle introduced himself as Director Maki, director of Slokoth Banana Paradise, and explained the problem. A recent development on the mountain displaced Snorlax, driving it into the banana forest. The Snorlax had been taking the Slokoth's bananas, forcing the Slokoth to subsist on whatever scraps Snorlax left. That was why the park couldn't open normally. "Please," Director Maki pleaded, "can you capture it and restore peace to the park?" Xiaoji looked at the group. "Does anyone want a Snorlax? I already have one and don't want to capture another." Xiao Gang and Xiao Yao shook their heads. Xiao Sheng looked eager, but was promptly ignored. Then Xiaoji offered, "I have a special energy block for Snorlax. 2 blocks can sustain a Snorlax's energy for a day. I can leave them here if that helps." Director Maki brightened at that. Solving Snorlax's food problem was just what the park needed. Yes, thank you," he said. Xiaoji added one more condition. "But before I hand it over, may I catch a Slokoth in the park?" He remembered the original tale. There was a Slokoth that looked lazy but had a fierce fighting spark in its eyes. A Slucking's raw power, combined with an ability modification card to remove Truant, could make a terrifying partner, maybe even strong enough to stand against a legendary. "No problem," Director Maki agreed readily. Leaving the energy block recipe in his hands in exchange for 1 Slokoth was a deal too good to pass up. Director Maki led them to the banana forest where Snorlax lay. Snorlax woke, grabbed 2 bunches of bananas, and began eating. "My bananas! Please catch it, Xiaozhi," Director Maki begged. After finishing the bananas in its hands, Snorlax went to snatch more from the Slokoth. A group of Slokoth formed a trembling little barrier in front of it, too afraid to be angry but unable to stop it. One Slokoth, however, caught Xiaoji's eye. It was stockier than the others, its eyes showing less laziness and more ferocity, a fighting spirit simmering beneath the surface. Xiaoji smiled to himself. That was the one. To be continued. Chapter 90. Double Evolution. Capture. Ash activated the system and checked Slokoth's data. Gender, male. Type, normal. Ability, truant. Strength, elite early stage moves. Scratch, yawn, headbutt, tear claw. Dynamax attribute, normal. Ash had planned to deal with Snorlax first and then capture the Slokoth, but seeing the readout, he changed his mind. If the tribe was in danger, a hero would naturally be born from it. Without hesitation, he stepped forward and called to the Slokoth. "Slokoth, will you protect your homeland with me?" Everyone around them was surprised. Xiao Sheng blurted, "Aren't we supposed to handle Snorlax first?" Ash answered firmly, "When a tribe faces a crisis, a hero will rise. Solving the crisis is its job." The Slokoth suddenly brightened as if stirred by fighting spirit. "All right, let's go." Ash threw a Pokeball. "I choose you, Mudkip." Mudkip popped out, no longer the tiny baby it had been. It rushed forward, ready to evolve. "Rock Smash!" it cried, barreling towards Slokoth and sending the slower Pokemon flying. Slokoth sprang up, white light gathering in its claws, and in a flash it countered with Tear Claw, slashing fiercely. Ash nodded. This Slokoth had strong battle awareness, just what he'd expected. The opportunity for the Truant ability to stall was gone. "Mudkip, Water Pulse!" Ash shouted. Mudkip concentrated and launched a Water Pulse that sent Slokoth tumbling back. As Slokoth fell, it opened its eyes and was bathed in evolution light. Mudkip, not to be outdone, was also glowing. Evolution was taking hold on both sides. "2 Pokemon are evolving at once," Xiao Sheng exclaimed. Such a simultaneous evolution in battle was rarer than 1 in 10,000. Xiaogang grinned. I knew it. The hero Ash mentioned is Slakoth's evolution. Vigoroth? Xiao Yao cried in surprise. Director Maki cheered. That's perfect. Banana Paradise will be saved. Both Pokemon swelled with energy and grew. Slakoth's fur turned wholly white, a red tuft standing upright on its head. Mudkip rose to its feet, colors lightening and muscles firming. A Vital Spirit Strength, Elite Mid-Stage moves, Focus Energy, Uproar, Slash, Focus Punch, Type Water Ground. Strength Elite Late Stage moves, Mudshot, Earthquake, Surf, Protect. Ash smiled. Return, Marshtomp. Vigoroth, come with me. Let's finish this and take down Snorlax. Vigoroth tapped its chest confidently, ready for the fight. In the banana grove, Snorlax was lazily stuffing its mouth with bananas, enjoying a comfortable retirement. Ash approached with Vigoroth. Snorlax, let's duel! Vigoroth glared and waved its powerful arms. Snorlax, irritated at being disturbed, unleashed a blast of pink bubbles from its mouth. Yawn! Vigoroth, destroy them! Ash called. Relying on its vital spirit, Vigoroth rushed forward and shredded the floating bubbles with its claws. Slash! Ash ordered. Vigoroth leapt, white energy flaring in its hand, and slashed Snorlax across the head, sending the big Pokemon tumbling. Snorlax roared in fury and fired a hyper beam from its mouth. Dodge! Ash shouted. Snorlax tried to follow up with a body slam on the spot Vigoroth would be dodging to, its massive weight making the threat grave. Now, Vigoroth, finish it with Focus Punch, Ash commanded. Vigoroth clenched its fist, light flashing, and landed a Focus Punch that hurled the pressing Snorlax away. At that moment, Director Maki leaped forward, threw a Pokeball, and captured Snorlax. With Snorlax secured, the crisis at Slakoth Banana Paradise was over. Ash turned to Vigoroth. Do you want to travel with me? Vigoroth smiled and tapped the offered Pokeball. It clicked shut and didn't even shake. The capture was successful. Ash locked it in. Come out, Charizard. At the same time, Ash took out the Mega Evolution Stone Collar the system had crafted and slipped it onto Charizard. He produced additional collars and bracelets designed to meet Mega Evolution requirements and handed them to Charizard. Charizard, take these to Professor Oak, Ash instructed. Charizard roared in agreement. After the earlier incident, Ash had the system craft the Mega Evolution items in advance. Being system-made, they wouldn't break, fall off, or be stolen in battle. Ash recalled Charizard and teleported him to Professor Oak's laboratory. Director Maki, grateful for Ash and the others' help, prepared an elaborate banana cake. Xiao Yao devoured it with obvious delight. Maki also turned Snorlax into a lounge mascot, adding facilities that boosted business even further. With everyone happy, they said their goodbyes to Director Maki and set off toward Lily Cove City. At Professor Oak's laboratory, Charizard roared and flung a large plume of flame into the sky in triumph. Ash's Pokemon gathered for a meeting. Charizard began handing out the Mega Evolution Stones. Each Pokemon that could Mega Evolve sensed its stone and accepted it gratefully. Those without Mega Evolutions looked on enviously. Only Grovyle clenched its fists and resolved to train harder so it could earn a Mega Stone after evolving. Professor Oak, drawn by the commotion, came out and almost tripped at the sight. He was already astonished that the Bulbasaur teleported back earlier had evolved into Venusaur. Since Ash's time in Hoenn, every one of his Pokemon had been training hard. Some had even learned new moves from one another, and their strengths had leaped forward. Now, seeing so many Pokemon with Mega Evolution Stones was overwhelming. Before anyone could react, the old professor hastily took several of the Pokemon and their Mega Stones back to his institute. Annihilape and Beautifully watched with sympathy as their friends were led away. The ones taken glared resentfully at Charizard. Why make such a big show of delivering the stones, they seemed to ask, now the old man had taken them. Charizard looked embarrassed and a little regretful. To be continued. Chapter 91, Lily Cove City. Gorgeous competition begins. After several days of traveling through mountains and rivers, Ash and his friends finally arrived at the port city, Lily Cove City. On the trip, Ash had taught Rayquaza the Dragon Ascent TM, and the legendary dragon had learned the move that was unique to it. Rayquaza had also been helping Bagon with special training. As Ash's only other dragon-type Pokemon, Bagon received exceptional treatment. Under Rayquaza's guidance, Bagon's strength leapt forward. It reached the late ordinary rank, became comparable to a melodic, and learned Dragon Dance, Dragon Breath, and Bite. When Xiao Gang and Xiao Sheng saw Rayquaza and Deoxys safely tucked away in Ash's Master Ball and Ultra Ball, they were stunned. They had been sure both legendaries were gone. Mischievous Xiao Sheng even reached out because he was curious, but Rayquaza wasn't having it. "Are you kidding?" It seemed to roar. "I am the god of the sky. Do you really think a mere mortal can just touch me?" Lily Cove City sat at the very edge of the Hoenn continent, a bustling metropolis that opened onto the Great Sea. As soon as they arrived, Xiao Yao spotted a poster for a Pokémon contest. "Look, a notice poster for the Pokémon contest. The Lily Cove Convention, gorgeous competition, is tomorrow," she cried. "How lucky!" Xiao Yao's eyes sparkled. "My competitive spirit is fired up. I have to get my third ribbon." Earlier on their way to Lily Cove, there had been a small-town gorgeous competition. Ash hadn't planned to enter, so with few opponents present, Xiao Yao had easily won using Swablu and picked up her second ribbon. Swablu also reached the peak of the ordinary rank. Xiao Sheng, as usual, was teasing. "No way. If Ash enters, he'll win and get the last ribbon." "Xiao Sheng," Xiao Yao scolded, cheeks reddening. "Don't say it out loud. Save my pride." They decided to head to the Pokémon Center first to reserve rooms. Ash also wanted to swap in Kirlia as his main Pokémon for the gorgeous competition. Just as they set off, Pikachu leapt from Ash's shoulder and Eevee followed, scampering ahead. "Hey, don't run off," Ash called, chasing after them, only to find they'd led everyone straight to Lily Cove's famous berry market. The market buzzed with vendors selling every kind of berry. The air was thick with mixed, fruity scents. A young girl with short purple hair and a grumpig was haggling loudly at one stall. "Please, just a little discount. I bought so much already. Come on." At her age, she'd already mastered the art of bargaining. Nearby, an older vendor waved a plate and called, "Come and try. These are sour berries picked this morning." Pikachu eagerly sampled one and made a happy sound as it ate. Eevee sniffed but kept her distance. Every Pokémon has their own tastes. Ash and the others bought berries their Pokémon would enjoy. Xiao Gang picked up some berries suitable for human use as seasoning. They left the stall loaded with a big bag of fruit. "Excuse me, please make way," the purple-haired girl called, struggling under an enormous bag of berries. Because her view was blocked, she tripped and the bag burst open. Grumpig, right behind her, quickly used Psychic to rescue the flying produce, but the girl still fell. A ripple of applause went through the crowd at the display of reflexes and teamwork. The girl stood up and hearing the applause, the coordinator part of her came alive. "Thank you, everyone. We'll be competing in tomorrow's Pokémon contest. Please cheer for us," she announced brightly. "Gorgeous competition? Are you a Pokémon coordinator?" Xiao Yao stepped forward, excited. "Yes," the girl said. "I'm Gianna, and this is my best partner, Grumpig. Hi, I'm Xiao Yao. Ash and I are competing tomorrow, too." Xiao Yao introduced herself, and the two girls quickly hit it off, chattering about contests and routines. Gianna invited Ash and the others to her home for dinner. Her family ran a Pokéblock shop, and her mother laid out a huge spread to welcome them. After a warm meal, Xiao Yao decided to stay at the shop and learn how to make Pokéblocks, while Ash headed back to the Pokémon Center to swap in Kirlia and get ready for the competition. At the center, Ash got a video call from Professor Oak. "Ash, Marshtomp has been received," Oak said, holding up a Pokéball on the screen. "I've got mine too," Ash replied, smiling. Oak then asked about the unusual number of Mega Evolution Stones Ash had gathered. "Where did you get so many Evolution Stones?" Oak wondered. Mega Evolution technology was still new, and most of the stones were known to be in the Kalos region. Ash explained that he'd found the stones during his travels through Hoenn. Oak nodded. He wasn't too surprised. Ash's journeys tended to stir up all sorts of legendary Pokémon. He'd heard Ash had recently sparred with Rayquaza, so a few evolution stones made sense. Then Oak raised a different issue. "Ash, why are you asking to increase your Pokémon slots again? What, your roster still isn't enough?" It was surprising to Oak that Ash, already carrying 8 Pokémon, still needed more space. Ash trusted Oak and told him the truth. He'd caught Deoxys and Rayquaza. Oak nearly jumped out of his seat. "What? You caught Deoxys and Rayquaza? Where are you now? I'll come right over." "Shh, don't make a fuss," Ash said, lowering his voice. Oak cleared his throat and switched to his more formal tone. Ash, I've helped you raise a lot of Pokémon over the years for free. Our families have a good relationship. Why don't you transfer one of the Deoxys over so I can study it? Observe it. Ash's mouth twitched at Oak's emotional appeal. He thought about the upcoming match between Kirlia and the other competitors and said, I'll build our bond first. Maybe later. Oak brightened at the prospect. No problem. Leave the slot issue to me. I'll get it sorted this time. The Lily Cove Pokemon Contest, gorgeous competition, opened on schedule. Vivian was on stage doing her usual enthusiastic introductions. Backstage, Ash, Xiaoyao, and Gianna waited in the holding area, preparing to go on. Ash even spotted Musashi, Jessie, whom he hadn't seen in a while, all dressed up and participating with a Chimecho. Now let's begin the first round of judging. First up is contestant number 1, Xiaoyao. Vivian's voice rang out, and Xiaoyao took a deep breath as she walked toward the spotlight. To be continued. Chapter 92, Grand Festival Ticket in Hand. In the audience, someone shouted, Huh? Is it Xiaoyao's turn first this time? I hope the princess isn't too nervous. Xiao Gang and Xiao Sheng murmured to each other. Xiaoyao's partner this time was her first Pokemon, Combuskin. Combuskin, take the stage, she called. Combuskin executed a cool backflip onto the stage. Because it was early in the performance, its flame vortex burst out stronger than expected and nearly singed Xiaoyao. Calm and quick thinking, she used Peck to disrupt the vortex. The scattering sparks gave her an idea. Under her command, Combuskin spun, gathering the flames into small fireballs in its hands. It combined them into a single giant fireball held above its head, then performed an impromptu fire dance. Finally, Combuskin hurled the fireball and followed with a sky uppercut to shatter it. The sparks drifted down as the routine finished. Xiaoyao had salvaged the routine, but the judges had noticed the early mistake. Her final score was 23.6. Next up was Ash. Kirlia, I choose you, he called. Kirlia floated down and immediately set up psychic terrain. Mystical fire orbs appeared beside it. Amplified by confusion, they spun around Kirlia. Charm, Ash urged, and Kirlia charmed the audience, who couldn't help squealing. So cute! Then Kirlia blew a pale blue icy wind that froze the mystical fire. Strangely, the flames continued to burn within the ice. With a crack, under Kirlia's confusion, the ice shattered and the fiery fragments drifted down like glowing snow. The crowd went wild. Ash's final score was a perfect 30. Gianna, number 18, followed with Grumpig's Psychic and Energy Ball combo and scored 27.7. The last performer was Matsumagel Musashi, with Chimecho's Soothing Bell followed by a harsh contrast, which surprisingly won the judges' approval and another 30 points. Because there weren't many top contenders, Xiaoyao advanced to the second round, the gorgeous competition, 5 minutes. 8 contestants moved on. The next phase paired competitors for elimination matches. Ash would face Musashi, and Xiaoyao would face Gianna. Ash's match with Musashi was straightforward. Chimecho, use Bind, Musashi ordered. Chimecho lunged, but Kirlia teleported aside. If you've got the nerve to stay, don't run. Double Edge, Musashi barked. Chimecho charged hard, but Kirlia answered with Psychic, stopping the attack, then unleashed Dazzling Gleam. The burst of pink light struck Chimecho and it collapsed, unable to continue. With Chimecho out, Musashi was eliminated. Vivian announced, Chimecho is unable to battle. Ash and Kirlia will advance to the final stage. Across the arena, Xiaoyao's match against Gianna had been tense. Grumpig's Psychic kept reversing Combuskin's fire attacks, lifting Combuskin and wearing it down with bounce. Xiaoyao's score was slipping, but she was quick with strategy. She sent a flame vortex skyward, preventing Grumpig from using its Psychic effectively. The reflected flames kept striking Grumpig, dispelling its Psychic, and both Pokemon fell at the same time. Grumpig! Gianna cried. Combuskin, catch Grumpig! Xiaoyao shouted. Combuskin snagged Grumpig midair and used a blast of vortex fire against the ground. The recoil slowed their descent, and both landed safely. Time's up! Match over! Vivian declared. Xiaoyao and Combuskin, thanks to their wonderful coordination and quick thinking, rescued Grumpig and turned the tide just before time expired. They take the win. The audience and judges praised Xiaoyao for choosing to save Grumpig instead of taking a guaranteed victory. Gianna thanked her. Xiaoyao, thank you for saving Grumpig. Good luck in your battle with Ash. The final was set. Xiaoyao versus Ash once again, the third time they'd met in a final. If not for Ash, Xiaoyao might have already completed her collection. Combuskin, take the stage, Xiaoyao called. Combuskin eyed Ash nervously. Facing the same opponent again made it tense. Kirlia, go, Ash replied. Both Pokemon were strong, but Combuskin had a disadvantage against Kirlia. Xiaoyao struck first. Combuskin, sweep the field with Flame Vortex. The vortex surged toward Kirlia. Kirlia, Mirror Coat, Ash countered, reflecting the Flame Vortex back with doubled force. Combuskin, Sky Uppercut, shatter it. At the same moment, Ash ordered, Kirlia, sing. Kirlia's lullaby took effect just after Combuskin used Sky Uppercut. As Combuskin struck, it was put to sleep. Ash seized the opening. Kirlia, Dream Eater, then Psybeam. Dream Eater woke Combuskin only to drain its energy, then Psybeam followed and struck hard. When Combuskin awoke, it fell into confusion. Xiaoyao cried out, Combuskin, and shot Ash a resentful look. Ash knew he'd pushed the advantage, so he didn't press a finishing blow. The match ended with Combuskin still confused and unable to recover. Ash won on points. The winner has been decided, Vivian announced. The Pokemon contest, Lily Cove City Tournament winner, Ash and Kirlia, will be awarded the Lily Cove ribbon. Applause filled the stadium as Ash received the Lily Cove ribbon. Vivian smiled at him. Congratulations to Ash for obtaining 5 ribbon badges. He has now secured a ticket to the Grand Festival. Let's congratulate him. Obtained Lily Cove ribbon. Reward, 1,000 points. Ding, host has collected all ribbon badges. Unlocking task achievement. Top coordinator. Reward, unknown. Ash glanced at the system notification. That achievement implied he had to win the Grand Festival to claim the reward. System, why is there only points for the Alliance Conference? He wondered. This is a first-time achievement. The host will receive an unknown reward for obtaining the Alliance Champion title for the first time. Subsequent wins will grant only points. Ash's eyes lit up. That meant he could earn an achievement reward if he won the Alliance Conference this time as well. Satisfied, Ash and his companions left Lily Cove City by boat, ready for whatever came next. To be continued. Chapter 93. The European Emperor of the Referee Academy. Island Xiaozhi and his group, bound for Lily Cove City, managed to take the wrong boat and wound up at Bomba Island. At the dock, they reevaluated their route. Xiaogang said, I heard the fastest shortcut to Lily Cove is to transfer here. There's no direct service, though. We have to go to another island first and pick up a connecting boat. Xiaoyao wasn't disappointed. She brightened up. That means we'll get to hop around a bunch of small islands. That sounds like fun. Just then, a Pokemon carrying boxes passed by. Xiaoyao pointed excitedly. Look, a huge Venusaur. Everyone stared at her with blank faces. Xiaosheng interrupted, irritated. What are you talking about? Princess, that's clearly an Ivysaur. Xiaoyao flushed, embarrassed. Trying to save face, she tried to show off more Pokemon knowledge and only made things worse. She mistook Charmeleon for a glorified Charmander and took Wartortle for Squirtle, nearly misleading Xiaosheng. Everyone was still surprised to see second-stage Kanto starters here in Hoenn. They were rare enough that even Dr. Otamaki had to ask Professor Oak to send them for study. Hey, wait up, a voice called, and a young man came running, balancing 3 boxy packages. He was going too fast and tripped, spilling the boxes. The Kanto starters quickly set their burdens down and rushed over, looking worried. Xiaozhi and the others hurried forward. Are you all right? They asked. I'm fine. I fall a lot, the young man said, scrambling up and forcing a smile when he saw them. By the way, you must be new students getting ready to enroll, right? Welcome to the Pokemon Battle Referee Training School. I'm Jimmy. Xiaozhi's group introduced themselves and explained their travel mix-up. Jimmy looked embarrassed, then sheepishly invited them to the referee academy. After all, the whole island was nothing but that school, which explained his assumption. Xiaozhi and Xiaogang helped Jimmy carry the boxes, and everyone headed into the academy. Jimmy explained their situation to Serena-sensei, who greeted the newcomers warmly and invited them to a demonstration match. Xiaogang, who loved battles, agreed without hesitation. Soon they were seated in the battle arena, with the other students spectating. Jimmy took the referee's post, visibly nervous, and called the match. I choose Kirlia and Bagon, Xiaozhi announced. I'm counting on you, Mudkip and Lombre, Xiaogang answered. Although Xiaogang's Pokemon hadn't had heavy training, both were respectable elite mid-stage level. Xiaozhi grinned. "It's been a while since I fought you, Xiaogang. Let's go all out." Xiaogang grinned back. "Don't hold back. Bagon, Dragon Dance, Kirlia, Psychic Terrain," Xiaozhi ordered. "Bah." Kirlia, both Pokemon buffed themselves. Lombre, Mudkip, Double Water Gun. Xiaogang shouted. Kirlia, Mirror Coat, Bagon, Dragon Breath. Kirlia raised a gleam of blue light and set up a reflective barrier. Bagon blew a Dragon Breath at Mudkip. Lombre, take it, Mudkip, Water Gun. Xiaogang countered. 2 water guns slammed into Lombre. Dragon Breath and one of the water streams collided. Bagon, still lower in level, was shoved back by the splash and hit his own side. Kirlia, Psychic, Bagon, Twister, Xiaozhi ordered. Kirlia's eyes glowed, and a psychic wave hit both Lombre and Mudkip, freezing them with pain and damage. Bagon's Twister struck as well, knocking them away. Jimmy was about to call Lombre and Mudkip unable to continue when Serena-sensei raised a hand. "Wait, Jimmy. Look closely at their condition." Mudkip and Lombre were back on their feet. Jimmy blinked in surprise. "They took a lot and still stood up?" Serena-sensei smiled. "You're still in training. Mistakes happen. Because Bagon's level is low, the combination looked perfect on paper, but it couldn't finish them." Jimmy scratched his head, relieved. Mudkip formed a pulsing ball of water. "Water Pulse! Mudkip, attack! Lombre, Razor Leaf! Then let's finish this!" Bagon, Dragon Rush, Kirlia, Psychic, Xiaozhi shouted. Kirlia seized control of the attack, and Bagon's Dragon Rush slammed into Mudkip and Lombre. Boom! In the end, Xiaogang couldn't reverse the tide, and Xiaozhi took the victory. Bagon gained enough experience to level up to the peak of its current stage. After the match, Jimmy and his trio of Kanto starters escorted Xiaozhi's group to their assigned rooms. Xiao Sheng, curious, asked about their bond. "Wartortle and the others seem really close to you, Jimmy. How did you meet them?" Jimmy smiled, lost in memory. "I used to be a trainer. I left home with a Squirtle and traveled. Squirtle evolved into Wartortle, and not long after that, we met Ivysaur and Charmeleon." "Met?" Xiao Yao seized on the word. "Yeah, not long after the evolution. Wartortle and I got lost in a deep, unfamiliar forest. We only had one rice ball left and were exhausted. Somehow, that rice ball rolled down a slope and landed in the mouth of a sleeping Ivysaur. To thank us, Ivysaur led us out of the forest. After that, Ivysaur decided to travel with us." Xiao Yao, who'd had a hard time getting a Bulbasaur, looked envious. "You're so lucky." Pika Pika, Eevee, even the group's Pikachu and Eevee looked jealous. "As for Charmeleon, one day I slipped into a river. Wartortle and Ivysaur pulled me out, and I discovered a strangely colored golden Magikarp stuck in my clothes," Jimmy chuckled. "A man passing by loved that Magikarp and insisted on trading his Charmeleon for it." Xiaozhi opened his mouth in disbelief. Is this what separation of luck looks like? He'd gone through so much, while Jimmy seemed to have things fall into his lap. "Why are you so lucky? Golden Magikarp? Shiny? Share some of it." Jimmy scratched his head awkwardly. "Well, I only have one badge." He produced a teardrop-shaped badge. "This is the blue badge. I got it because once I passed by Hualan Gym and a girl named Sakura asked me to help clean the swimming pool. She was happy and gave me this badge." Xiaozhi and Xiaogang exchanged embarrassed looks, being upstaged by sheer luck even here. Xiaogang tried to hide his chagrin. Jimmy's grin faded a little. "Actually, I've never won a battle against another trainer. I accidentally fell into a river and drifted here to the referee academy. My life's full of accidents, lucky ones, but also a lot of losses. Guess I always turn danger into safety at the cost of never getting battle wins." They all blinked. Luck opening one door while closing another, it seemed the universe was conserving something. That evening, Serena-sensei found Jimmy and spoke with him quietly. She encouraged him to leave the academy if he wanted to pursue his own dreams, to stop hiding behind accidents and try being a trainer again. Xiaozhi and the others cheered him on too. Moved and determined, Jimmy made up his mind. The next morning, he set off from Lily Cove City to begin his journey anew. After farewells to the friendly Serena-sensei and the enviably lucky Jimmy, Xiaozhi's group boarded the boat to the next island. To be continued. Chapter 94. Crisis appears. Ancient Pokemon Ash and his friends arrived at the Iroha Triple Islands by boat. There, they unexpectedly met Dr. Otamaki, who was investigating why some clamperl on certain islands only evolved into Huntail or Gorbis. According to the doctor's research, the key to unlocking the mystery lay in the deep-sea tooth and the deep-sea scale. To solve the underwater puzzle, Ash and the group joined a young girl named Namiko and a boy named Kikuma, both of whom preferred the opposite evolutionary forms of clamperl, and together they explored the legendary ancient cave. On two neighboring islands, they found the deep-sea scale and the deep-sea tooth. Namiko's clamperl evolved into her beloved Gorbis, and Kikuma's clamperl evolved into his favored Huntail. The long-standing conflict between Louis Island and Bow Island was finally resolved. After saying goodbye to Dr. Otamaki, Ash and his group set off again and reached Kanga Island. There Ash faced Iwashimizu in a double battle. Using Vigoroth and Melodic as a combination, he defeated Iwashimizu easily. Melodic advanced, reaching the peak of its ordinary level. The group also ran into Team Rocket, who oddly enough were trying to build muscle. They weren't causing trouble, so Ash ignored them. But while heading toward Moss Deep City, the group boarded what turned out to be Team Rocket's ship. Ash cursed his carelessness. Not seeing Team Rocket for a while had left him too relaxed. Pikachu was captured on the ship, and the two teams began to squabble over him. Annoyed, Pikachu unleashed a huge thunderbolt. The blast sent Team Rocket flying and knocked Ash's group overboard. Now they were adrift on a makeshift floater in the open sea. Ash poured his aura into scanning for a passing ship to rescue them. Suddenly, his aura detected another presence approaching, familiar and unwelcome. The corner of his mouth twitched. If he remembered correctly, that presence belonged to Huokun. Their fears were confirmed. The sea surface trembled, and a red submarine rose up beneath them. "Look! A submarine!" Xiaoyao cried out. "Maybe they can rescue us." "Wait," Ash hissed, interrupting. "If I'm not mistaken, that sub belongs to Team Magma. Everyone, hide!" "Team Magma," the others echoed, and they scrambled to duck out of sight. Team Magma members were indeed standing on the sub's observation tower. The submarine docked at Team Magma's sea base, and an officer reported, "Report, the third action team has completed the patrol mission." Standing nearby were a red-haired man, Maxi, and Huokun. Despite their attempts to stay hidden, one of Team Magma's officers noticed them. Since they had been discovered, Ash decided not to sneak away. With Rayquaza and Deoxys around, he felt there was nothing to fear. He stepped out and confronted them. "It's you!" Huokun glared at Ash. He had been persistently thwarted by Ash before, and now Ash had seemingly snuck into the base. Ash ignored the glare and instead fixed his attention on the red-haired man. "You must be Maxi," he said. Several Mightyena bared their teeth and glared at Ash and his friends, ready to attack at the slightest provocation. Maxi didn't look down on them directly. After all, what could a few boys and girls do against the forces of nature and the power of legendary Pokémon? "Although you've interfered with Huokun's work many times, we don't intend to harm you," Maxi said. "We're very busy right now. Stay on this ship until our operation is finished." As Maxi spoke, a woman in a Team Magma uniform slipped off the submarine and ran toward the base. Huokun started to brief Maxi about Team Aqua's situation. "I think Team Aqua is lurking somewhere nearby," he reported. "At this stage, we can't confirm their presence in the waters near Duford Island." Maxi's expression darkened. He knew that the only real rival to contend with was Team Aqua if they had managed to obtain Kyogre. Both sides had loopholes in their operations. Undercover agents from Team Aqua and even from the League had slipped past Team Magma's defenses. Azumi, the captain of Team Aqua's undercover unit, had broken through the guards. Now the thing both teams dreamed of, the ancient Pokemon Kyogre, might be in play. Maxi felt the pressure of two legendaries potentially coming into conflict. Inside the base, Maxi led Ash and his companions to an office and gestured for them to sit. He perched himself in the center like someone who'd just won a small battle and said smoothly, "Okay, sit down. It's hard to have a proper conversation with you standing." Ash sat without ceremony and pulled Xiaoyao, Xiaosheng, and Xiaogang close. Xiaoyao and Xiaosheng trembled a little under the watchful eyes of the Mightyena and leaned in toward Ash. He kept Xiaosheng from being shoved aside. "You must know something about what we're doing," Maxi said. "Of course we know," Ash replied bluntly. "Your goal is ancient Pokemon. You want Groudon. Team Aqua wants Kyogre. You're both trying to reach your own ends." The mighty Anna snarled at the bluntness, and Huokun snapped, "Show some respect, kid." Maxie, however, carried on as if that had never happened. "You seem to misunderstand us. Team Magma's purpose is to study the mysteries of this planet and to create a better world. We aren't like those rogue groups, Team Aqua." Ash let out a short laugh. Only a fool would believe that. Xiao Gang chimed in from the side, more calmly. "Besides, legendary Pokemon aren't easy to find. Most people only hear the stories their whole lives. If it weren't for Ash's crazy luck, none of us would have seen them." Maxie smiled then, but this time with a hint of triumph. "Sorry to disappoint you. The ancient Pokemon are already in our hands." "What?" Xiao Gang and the others exclaimed, stunned. Only Ash remained outwardly calm, though his mind was racing. Maxie paused and studied that calm. Does this young man have some way to withstand legendary power? The leader wondered. To be continued. P.S. In this setting, Groudon and Kyogre are true divine beasts, each holding an assigned divine position and divine power in the world, unlike Rayquaza, which can use the Emerald Orb to break through to divine power temporarily. The blue and red orbs are tools that can help control such beings, but they are not the divine positions themselves. There are two ways a Pokemon can be divine. One is to have an assigned divine position and divine power within the world's order. These beings sustain the planet's normal functions and cannot be captured by humans. The other is to have the opportunity to break through to divine power without an assigned position. These are more free and, if they accept humans, could potentially be controlled. The black and white dragons are an exception. Their role is to choose the hero of ideals and reality. Chapter 95. Kyogre breaks free. Ash seizes the blue orb. Ash had known Team Magma and Team Aqua were scouring ancient ruins for Groudon and Kyogre, titans that had once battled in a primordial age. Severely wounded in that war, each had fallen asleep in far-flung ruins to heal. Over the centuries their kind had endured, but only these two had risen to the divine position. That's why both teams were desperate to control them. Maxie, unable to read all of Ash's thoughts, flaunted the blue orb and brimmed with confidence. "We have it," he announced. "The blue orb, it can control Groudon." He paced, eyes alight. Long ago, Groudon drove back the floods, scattering rain clouds and forcing the earth to push up toward the sky. To bond with that power and this planet is Team Magma's goal. Team Aqua, of course, seeks Kyogre, the opposite force. When Maxie reached the part about Team Aqua, he sneered. "But the Kyogre they want is already in our hands." Ash returned the sneer. "If I'm not mistaken, Team Aqua has Groudon, right?" Maxie's pupils narrowed in surprise. "You figured that out? It's simple. If one side had both Groudon and Kyogre, why would we still be spying on Team Aqua?" He laughed. "Clever young man. We only seized Kyogre incidentally to counter Team Aqua's moves. Unexpectedly, Team Aqua found Groudon and locked him away." He continued, explaining the whole setup. The blue orb controlled Groudon, the red orb controlled Kyogre. Each team held the orb that commanded the other's target, so they planned an exchange at an agreed meeting point, Dewford Island. Now that he'd revealed everything, he wasn't going to let Ash and the others leave. "Don't act rashly. Huokun, lock these kids up." "Yes." Just as Ash prepared to send out Deoxys and snatch the blue orb, an alarm blared. Maxie's radio crackled. There was an anomaly in Kyogre's containment. Maxie's face went pale. In that instant, Ash made his move. "I choose you, Green." Confusion. "Grab the blue orb." Green, Deoxys shot forward and snatched the blue orb from Maxie's hand. "What are you doing?" "Mighty Inna, attack!" Huokun barked, and several shadow balls streaked toward Ash. Ash only smiled. "Goodbye, Team Magma. Teleport." Deoxys vanished with them in a crackle of energy. At the same moment, Izumi had succeeded in rousing Kyogre. The ancient titan smashed free from its restraints, shattered its container, and surged back into the sea. Kyogre, enraged, hammered at the magma submarine and tore it apart. In an instant, Team Magma had lost both the blue orb and Kyogre. Everything seemed to collapse around Maxie. He could scarcely believe what had happened. Team Magma fell into chaos. Izumi prepared to flee, but a young man in a Team Magma uniform blocked her path. She tensed until he spoke, and she realized he wasn't Magma at all, but an undercover agent. "So that's how it is. Team Aqua Action Team Leader Izumi. Clean and ruthless work." "Oh, fellow pro," Izumi replied. You're with the League, right? Too bad you're a step too late. She stripped off the magma uniform to reveal a Team Aqua outfit underneath and dove into the sea. The undercover man watched her go and muttered, "Team Aqua is worse than we thought." He scanned the chaos. Team Aqua's agents embedded within magma, their base compromised, and felt a sour frustration. Things had been working to magma's advantage. Both teams had their titans but couldn't control them until balance broke tonight. Suddenly the young man looked up. A voice called out, "Mr. Lance, long time no see." He saw Ash's group hanging in the sky, 2 deoxys at their sides. "You are? Ash? Is that the blue orb?" Lance, who'd been undercover for some time, stared in disbelief. Of all people to appear, Ash had stolen Magma's 2 most guarded secrets. Ash and the others quickly filled Lance in. Lance's lips twitched. After all his long, fruitless undercover work, Ash and Izumi had done what he couldn't. He shook his head and straightened. "Then our next move is Dewford Island. Ash, I'll need your help." "No problem," Ash said. Without warning, the blue orb in Ash's grip began to glow. Strange red patterns traced themselves over its surface. Then the orb dissolved and merged into Ash's body. He felt an inferno of energy roll through him and red sigils burn onto his hand. Everyone gasped. "Ash!" cried the others. Pikachu squeaked anxiously. Eevee bristled. Ash centered himself, sending out his aura to steady the foreign power. The orb's voice tugged at him in one direction, toward Groudon. "I'm fine," Ash said. "Groudon just wanted my help." Xiaoyao's eyes were full of worry. "Are you sure?" "Don't worry," Ash pointed. "Rayquaza, green, take us there." Rayquaza and Deoxys obeyed, cutting through the storm-laden sky in the direction Ash indicated. Below, a magma submarine lay in ruins on the churning sea. From the surf, Team Aqua's boss Archie emerged holding the red orb with a triumphant roar. "Ha ha ha! Red orb, release Kyogre's power!" Kyogre unleashed a devastating hyper beam that obliterated Magma's remaining submarine hull. Archie laughed maniacally as the ocean answered Kyogre's command. "Team Magma, you're no match!" "Kyogre, finish them off. Team Aqua will rule the seas." Dark clouds had already swallowed the sky. With Kyogre awakened and its divine position ability drizzle in effect, rain hammered the ocean, cyclonic waves battered the shore, and lightning stitched the heavens. It was as if the world were ending. All eyes turned to Hoenn. The last calamity of that scale had been the legendary birds on Shamudi Island. Which divine position had risen this time? The answer hung in the storm as the battle for Dewford approached. To be continued. Chapter 96, Waking Groudon, ganging up on Kyogre. Archie stared at the apocalyptic scene and laughed, not in fear, but with an exhilarated, triumphant sound aimed at the storm-dark sky, as if the next step was to conquer the whole world. On Dewford Island, Team Magma and Team Aqua faced off amid wind and rain. Archie laughed loudly. "Maxie, you just stay and watch as Team Aqua conquers the world. Ha!" Then he climbed into his flying craft. Under the gloomy sky, the strange blue markings on his body stood out like a beacon. Maxie seethed with resentment. Everything he had worked for had been stolen from him. "Don't interfere with Lord Archie," Izumi ordered, leading Team Aqua members forward to block Team Magma. "Walrein, use water gun." "Lord Maxie, hurry and chase him. We'll hold them here." Huokun stepped forward loyally. "Mightyena, Shadow Ball." Maxie nodded and launched in a helicopter after Archie. "Let them see your power, Kyogre. Drown this world." Lightning cracked and thunder rolled across the sky. Kyogre roused from slumber, churned monstrous waves. Countless tsunamis rolled incoming like a single living tide, as if the sea truly intended to swallow the entire world. The red orb affecting Archie amplified his desires. He no longer sought merely to expand the sea. He wanted to drag the whole world down beneath the waves. "Ha! Maxie! I thought I'd leave you to watch while I took over the world, but that's no longer enough. I'll sink this island and this city to the ocean floor." Archie laughed, and a massive water vortex formed behind him, ready to swallow the island in an instant. Maxie's face turned pale. "You're insane! Your men are still on the island." "It doesn't matter," Archie replied with a cold chuckle. Even Izumi sounded dejected. After years of working for him, Archie was prepared to sacrifice everyone. On both sides, the fighting stopped as leaders called back their Pokémon. "Archie, stop! You're possessed by that red orb." Lance and Rayquaza had just arrived. Green had taken Ash and the others into Team Aqua's base to look for Groudon. Lance did his best to reason with Archie, but the leader ignored him and launched an attack. A massive tsunami surged forward. Rayquaza used Psychic to hold it back, but a divine being's wave was not something easily dispelled. Lance sent Dragonite and the Red Gyarados to engage Kyogre, keeping it from causing more devastation. Inside the Team Aqua base, Ash and the others had tracked down the container that held Groudon. How to open it? With brute force. Step back a bit, Ash told Xiaogang and the others. Rayquaza! Green! Fire Hyper Beam! Boom! The concentrated blast shattered the container. A huge Earth-like form rumbled free. Groudon, crimson and towering, shook off its binds. The red markings on Ash's own body flared, but he stayed in control. He stepped forward. Groudon, let's stop Kyogre together. Groudon lowered its massive head and let out a roar, then nodded once toward Rayquaza. It was clear the three legendary titans of Hoenn were now present on the field. Type, ground ability, drought, strength, divine roll moves, cliff blade, ancient power. Rayquaza bristled at Groudon's dismissive glance and roared in challenge, but Groudon didn't flinch. If Rayquaza truly became a divine force, it might even have to side with Kyogre, but for now it joined Ash and the others. Green led Ash out, while Groudon and Rayquaza surged toward the sea and their target, Kyogre. Under Archie's influence, Kyogre had already been stripped of calm. Type, water, ability, drizzle. Strength, divine roll moves, origin pulse, water spout. Maxie stared, stunned. Groudon and Rayquaza? The leaders of both organizations realized with a chill that the Hoenn Three had gathered here. Groudon and Kyogre began to vie for control of the weather, while Rayquaza's divine presence could override both with its airlock-like power. Rayquaza, hiss! Lance's eyes shone with longing. A flying dragon legend like Rayquaza matched his specialty perfectly. Rayquaza, Dragon Ascent, Mega Evolve. Light roared across Rayquaza's body. With a thunderous cry, Mega Rayquaza appeared, and turbulent air rolled through the sky. The legendary peak-level Rayquaza finally invoked its power, disrupting the complete domination of battle weather that Kyogre and Groudon had been trying to force. Mega Rayquaza. Ability Delta Stream creates turbulent air, negates flying-type weaknesses. Strength, Legendary Beast Peak. The turbulence drew Kyogre and Groudon's attention. Mega Rayquaza could take them both seriously now. Lance flew down on Dragonite, looking enviously at Ash. Ash, is that Rayquaza yours? Ash nodded with a grin. Mr. Lance, distract Archie. I'll handle that big fish. Got it, Lance answered, and surged toward Archie aboard Dragonite. The battle erupted in full. Groudon's Solar Beam, Ash shouted. Rayquaza, Draco Meteor. Green and Rayquaza focused, while Rayquaza and Green's Psychic kept Kyogre's raging waves in check. Groudon condensed a blinding orb of solar energy and fired. Rayquaza hurled Dragonic Meteor energy from the sky. Kyogre tried to answer with a massive tsunami, but the combined onslaught broke through and struck it directly. Archie, linked to Kyogre, screamed as the beast reeled in pain. Lance seized the moment and had Dragonite scoop Archie up. As Kyogre faltered without its controller, Ash and his allies pressed the attack. Groudon, Cliff Blade, Rayquaza, Dragon Ascent. The two legendary moves struck home. Kyogre was slammed aside and sent flying. Archie's wail was drowned by the storm as the red orb inside him flared and then he collapsed, unconscious. The blue orb in Ash's body flared too. The two orbs clashed in a brilliant white flash and then shattered, scattering their influence. Kyogre calmed. It shot one last glance at Ash and the others, then dove back into the sea and disappeared beneath the waves. Groudon, having done what it needed, returned to slumber on Mount Coronet. Before it left, it transmitted a message to Ash, coordinates, and a record of a descendant-level legendary Groudon. Ash's eyes lit up at the discovery. Lance secured Archie and Maxie and arranged for them to be taken across the region. Before he left, Lance clapped Ash on the shoulder. Thanks for your help. I'll put in a formal recommendation for a reward. With Kyogre subdued and both team leaders captured, the two major organizations of Hoenn were effectively broken. To be continued. Chapter 97, First Battle of the Crawdaunt-Kingler Combo. Ding, completed the Kyogre vs. Groudon achievement. Reward, Red Orb. Completed achievement, Annihilate Team Magma. Rewards, Beginner Rare Candygex 10, Intermediate Rare Candygex 5, High Grade Rare Candy 1. Completed achievement, Annihilate Team Aqua. Rewards, Double XP card, Double Points card. Double XP card. For 1 day after use, experience gained from defeating Pokémon is doubled. Double points card. For 1 day after use, points gained from defeating Pokémon are doubled. Ash looked over the rewards, eyes shining. All good stuff. He now had 10 beginner rare candies, 15 intermediate rare candies, and 6 high-grade rare candies. He examined the red orb in his hand and the ability overlay card stacked with Levitate. If he used those together, he felt sure he could control Groudon. Suddenly, a primal Groudon materialized before him, levitating. After the legendary beast battle, Ash and the others finally arrived at their destination, Moss Deep City. The first stop was, of course, the Pokémon Center to rest. Professor Oak called and told Ash, "Ash, your Pokémon slots have been sorted. I've added 2 more slots for you." "Really? Thanks, Professor Oak. By the way, I'll transfer Rayquaza and Green over to you. Please transfer Deoxys back." Keeping Rayquaza and Green in Pokeballs was an issue. He had promised them freedom. In the end, Ash transferred them back but kept Rayquaza in its Pokeball just in case. "No problem, no problem." Professor Oak squealed when he heard Deoxys was coming, rubbing his hands with obvious excitement. Ash couldn't help twitching his mouth at that. He knew Oak wouldn't go overboard, so the exchange went through. "Ash, I've received Deoxys here. Leave him to me," Oak said before hanging up. Ash was left staring at the screen, utterly exasperated. Ash's team: Pikachu, Eevee, Crawdaunt, Kingler, Combuskin, Marshtomp, Kirlia, Vigoroth, Melodic, Bagon, Rayquaza. 11 Pokemon in all. Pikachu, Eevee, and Rayquaza didn't count against his Pokemon slots. Since this was a double battle, Ash chose Crawdaunt and Kingler for the gym match. After feeding Crawdaunt 1 beginner rare candy, it immediately advanced to Gym Leader early stage. Ash met up with Xiaozhi and the others and headed for the Greenleaf Gym, but they learned the gym leaders were at the Space Center today for a rocket launch, so they went there instead. Inside Moss Deep's Space Center, they got a little lost and stumbled into an underground training room where they met the twin gym leaders, Fu and Nan. The twins were training in zero gravity, using Baltoy's confusion to spar. Ash and the group hit it off with them right away. Under Fu and Nan's guidance, Ash and his friends tried a lot of astronaut training equipment with their Pokémon, and the day passed pleasantly. In the evening, they watched the twins' father, astronaut Gene, lift off into space aboard a rocket. The next morning, Ash returned to the Greenleaf Gym. Fu and Nan were already waiting for him. "We've been waiting for you, Ash," Fu said. "Are you ready?" Nan asked. "No problem. I'm eager to get the badge." Pikachu chirped, and Eevee chimed in. Fu and Nan led Ash into the battle arena. Besides the normal ground, the arena's mid-air space was filled with artificial simulated planets. The twins' mother served as referee and explained the rules. "Listen carefully, Ash. In the Greenleaf Gym, the planets floating in the air are part of the battlefield. This match is a double battle. The gym leaders will use Solrock and Lunatone, and you may send out 2 Pokémon to face them. During the match, neither side may change the Pokémon they are using. There is no time limit. The match ends when both Pokémon on one side are unable to battle." With the rules announced, she called the match to start. Xiaozhi and the others in the audience murmured in surprise. If you used the floating planets well, the match could be turned around. Xiaoyao cupped her hands and shouted encouragement. Pikachu and Eevee sat in the stands to cheer. "Go Solrock," Fu called. "Lunatone, I'm counting on you," Nan replied. "I choose Crawdaunt and Kingler," Ash answered. Both sides' Pokemon materialized and the match began. Solrock and Lunatone were Gym Leader early stage. 2 Water-type Pokemon? Let's go. Solrock, tackle! Fu started the action. Crawdaunt, Crabhammer, Kingler, Bubble Beam. Ash countered. His plan was to overwhelm one opponent first, then deal with the other. Lunatone, use Psybeam to intercept that Bubble Beam, Nan ordered. Crawdaunt's giant pincer slammed into Solrock, while Kingler's Bubble Beam was struck by Lunatone's Psybeam and scattered into icy crystals across the arena. Ash grinned. "You're underestimating Crawdaunt's strength. Crawdaunt, give it some real force." The instant Crawdaunt tightened its grip, the pincer's power surged and blasted Solrock into a floating planet. Crawdaunt's strength was terrifying. It drove Solrock squarely into the planet and pinned it there like a lodged nut. "Solrock," Fu cried. "Don't let them coordinate. Kingler, double Hyper Beam." Ash had trained Kingler to fire 2 moves at once with its 2 pincers, sometimes 2 identical moves. The training was paying off. Kingler raised both pincers and began concentrating Hyper Beam. Crawdaunt held Lunatone down, so Nan couldn't intervene. She dared not approach Crawdaunt for fear of the same fate. Boom! Kingler fired. 2 Hyper Beams ripped through Solrock and the planet it had been slammed into. Normal-type moves do reduce damage to rock types, but these were massive Hyper Beams, 2 of them. Fu could only stare, stunned. From a single tackle, it was over. Solrock fell, unable to battle. To be continued. Chapter 98, Mind Badge, Elite Four Yuanji, Lunatone, drift into the asteroid field, Nan barked. Seeing he was outnumbered, he knew he couldn't just charge in, he had to use strategy. Ash's Pokémon couldn't fly, and the asteroids could provide cover. Ash, Crawdaunt, swift, Ash called with a grin. Don't think cover will save you. Sure hit moves exist. Nan's eyes widened. Oh no, Lunatone, light screen. Lunatone slid into the asteroid cluster and raised a pale pink light screen just in time. Bang, Swift slammed into the barrier and was completely stopped. Now Crawdaunt. Aqua Jingler, Crabhammer, send Crawdaunt up, Ash ordered. Kingler swung its massive pincer and blasted Crawdaunt into the air. Crawdaunt used the upward momentum to charge with Aqua Jet, a jet of water propelling it at incredible speed toward Lunatone. Lunatone. Nan watched Crawdaunt hurtle in. There wasn't time to dodge. Go for it, Psybeam. Lunatone fired an ice-blue Psybeam at the water-sheathed Crawdaunt. The beam chilled the water instantly, freezing it around Crawdaunt, but the momentum didn't stop. The frozen column of water drove straight through Lunatone. Boom! Lunatone collapsed, knocked out by the impaling ice pillar. The pillar shattered, and Crawdaunt's pincers emerged, gleaming. Crawdaunt let out a triumphant chuckle. So amazing! That last Psybeam. Its icy effect didn't stop Crawdaunt. It actually turned the Aqua Jet into an ice pillar strike and made it even more powerful. Xiaosheng exclaimed. Yes, that means Ash has won the Green Leaf Gym. Xiao Yao cheered. Princess, you really lost without me. Feng crowed, arms folded. It's your fault. You only used 1 move the whole match and then fainted. Nan shot back. If it weren't for you, would I have had to fight 2-on-1? The siblings traded their usual teasing barbs, but it was clear they weren't serious. Siblings bickered all the time. Feng and Nan approached Ash and handed him the badge. Here, Ash. This proves you beat us, the Mind Badge. Ash accepted the badge. Kingler and Crawdaunt waved their pincers in celebration, and Kingler earned enough experience from the match to advance to a higher rank within the gym. After testing the training outcomes for his Crawdaunt and Kingler, Ash returned them to the Pokémon Center and brought out Pidgeot and Grovyle. Xiaozhi's group then left Moss Deep City, bound for Iga Bay Island, where a gorgeous contest was about to begin. With the Grand Festival approaching and Xiao Yao having only 2 ribbons, the next leg of their journey would focus on her contest preparations. The League tournament would come after the Grand Festival, so Ash wasn't in a rush to visit the last Luli gym. At the dock, people gathered to watch an impromptu match. Scissor, use Metal Claw, someone commanded. Combuskin, Flame Kick, finish it, Ash called from above. Combuskin dove like an arrow, flame-laced foot striking Scissor. Boom, Scissor was knocked out. Xiao Gang, acting as referee, announced, Scissor is unable to battle. Combuskin wins. The victor is Ash. Well done, Combuskin, Ash praised as he recalled his Combuskin. It chirped back happily. A passerby who'd been defeated sighed with admiration. You're incredible. That battle taught me a lot. Thank you, Ash. You're welcome, Ash replied, shaking the man's hand before parting ways. Afterwards, Xiaozhi's group sat down to lunch at a restaurant by the harbor, taking a table outside to discuss the match. That was amazing, Xiao Yao said. Ash's battle was totally decisive, as expected of him. Xiaosheng rolled his eyes at Xiao Yao. But the opponent was Scissor. Combuskin had a clear type advantage. At that moment, Kojiro, working as a waiter, approached. Welcome. Kojiro yelped at the sight of Xiaozhi's group. Ash glanced at him with a look that said the disguise was laughably obvious. Xiao Yao and the others, though, hadn't noticed. Everything okay? She asked. Ah, nothing, Kojiro stammered. Please call me when you're ready to order. He zipped back inside to whisper with Musashi and Meowth. Soon he returned with glasses of juice. Xiao Yao took a sip and brightened. It's delicious. Xiao Gang tried his and then asked. By the way, Xiao Yao, Who are you thinking of using in the gorgeous contest? I've been considering Bulbasaur or Skitty. Both have been doing well. I can't decide. Xiaoyao mused over her drink. You should decide early so you have plenty of time to prepare, Ash suggested. How about Bulbasaur? It hasn't been on stage yet. You should give it the chance. Xiaoyao nodded. Just then, a man with a salt and pepper beard and a black captain's trench coat had been standing behind them. That's right, he said. In a Pokémon contest, coordination and understanding between you and your Pokémon are most important. Pick your partner early. Ah, yes, thank you for the advice, Xiaoyao said, startled and grateful. Xiao Sheng's eyes went wide. Excuse me, are you Elite Four Yuanji? Oh, you know me, Yuanji replied with a nod. He turned to Ash. I watched your scissor match earlier. Your opponent analysis, situational judgment, and the timing of your sure hit moves were all precise. Thank you. I'm Ash, Ash said. These are my partners, Pikachu and Eevee. Pikachu, Eevee. Xiao Gang and the others introduced themselves in turn. Yuanji's eyes lit up when he heard Ash's name. Oh, so you're Ash. Very good, very talented, just as Lance said. He couldn't help wondering how he might get a look at Rayquaza later. He was a true dragon-type elite and curious by nature. If you don't mind, would you like to come aboard my ship for a visit? Yuanji offered after a thought. Xiaoji's group agreed eagerly. The Team Rocket trio, overhearing, hurried over. Excuse us, can we come too? They asked nervously. A hush fell for a moment. Yuanji smiled faintly as if recalling something. That cup of hot milk you served me earlier. The three froze. Kojiro carefully asked, Did it not suit your taste? No, not at all, Yuanji said, savoring the memory. The sweetness was exquisite. To thank you, I'll treat you as well. Relief flooded the Team Rocket trio. Good thing he likes it as sweet as I do, Meowth muttered gratefully. At the port, Yuanji stood straight into the sea breeze, his black coat billowing and lending him an imposing aura. Mr. Yuanji is so cool, Xiao Sheng breathed. Like a man of the sea, Xiaoyao sighed dreamily. Suddenly, a huge sailboat appeared in the distance and made its way toward the dock. Wow, that's a big ship, someone murmured. It looks like a pirate ship, another added. My ship is about to set sail, so I had my crew make preparations, Yuanji explained. A crewman called out from the deck. Captain, the ship is ready. Yuanji introduced him with a nod. This is Ryoko, my top disciple. The sailboat pulled alongside the pier, and Xiaoji's group climbed aboard with Yuanji. The sea wind snapped the sails, and the deck thrummed with activity as the journey continued. To be continued. Chapter 99, Showdown with Mr. Yuanji, Septel appears. The deck of this ship is huge, and the masts are thick. They look really sturdy. Xiao Gang said, looking around with admiration. Liang Guang puffed up with pride. Of course, our ship isn't afraid of any strong winds or big waves. Mr. Yuanji. Xiao Sheng spoke up. Mr. Yuanji had been mulling over how to get Ash to bring out Rayquaza when Xiao Sheng interrupted him. Oh, Xiao Sheng, do you need something? Mr. Yuanji asked. May I see your Pokémon, please? Xiao Sheng asked, his eyes bright with expectation. The interruption gave Mr. Yuanji an idea. If he fought Ash and forced him to use his main team, maybe Ash would be compelled to call out Rayquaza. He smiled. Sure, but just looking would be boring. Ash, want a match? Ash grinned. All right, I accept. Be careful. You're facing an Elite Four member, Xiao Gang warned. This is awesome. We get to watch a high-level battle. Xiaoyao cheered. Let's make it a 3-on-3, Mr. Yuanji decided. First side to win 2 rounds takes the match. Do we have a referee? I'll do it, teacher, someone volunteered. They moved to the battle arena on the ship. The referee raised a hand and announced, Now beginning the 3-on-3 Pokémon match between Mr. Yuanji and Ash. Let the battle begin. Go, Ash, Xiao Gang and the others shouted encouragement. Ash, my first Pokémon is this one. Mr. Yuanji sent his first Pokémon without hesitation. Come out, Shelgon. A round, white, cocoon-like Shelgon appeared on the field. Then it's Grovyle, Ash chose. He'd thought about sending Eevee for level balance, but Grovyle was on the cusp of evolving, and Ash wanted to push it to its limits. Grovyle, go! Grovyle rushed out, a branch clenched in its mouth, eyes fixed seriously on Shelgon. Good, let's see it, Ash. Mr. Yuanji crossed his arms. Shelgon, double edge. Grovyle fired back immediately. Grovyle, seed machine gun. Countless golden seeds sprayed from Grovyle's mouth, but Shelgon's hard shell absorbed the attack with no trouble. Mr. Yuanji watched calmly. Not bad. If raw power won't break its defense, boost your offense. Ash, use work up on Grovyle, Ash commanded. A white light flashed inside Grovyle as its attack and special attack rose. Seeing Ash prepare, Mr. Yuanji seized the chance to strike. Shelgon, double edge. Ash, use double team. Ash barked, and then, when it gets close, quick attack, then leaf blade. Grovyle blurred into multiple after-images. Shelgon smashed through one of them and lunged forward. In that instant, Grovyle flashed and slashed with a razor-sharp leaf blade, but Shelgon stood firm, unshaken. Everyone reacted in surprise. Mr. Yuanji smiled. You planned well, Ash, but you underestimated Shelgon's defense. Then we'll make up for power with speed. Keep attacking, Grovyle. Continuous leaf blade, Ash urged. Grovyle surged, its leaf blade attacks striking like shadows, but Shelgon held on. Mr. Yuanji frowned. Shelgon was tiring, but still determined. Shelgon, flame vortex. A wall of flames erupted around Shelgon. The flames swallowed Grovyle's onslaught. Grovyle was caught in the blaze. Grovyle, Ash shouted. Keep fighting. Use Swords Dance to break free. Grovyle's eyes, pained and focused, suddenly hardened. But instead of Swords Dance, a brilliant blue-white light burst from its body. The flames scattered as Grovyle began to evolve. It evolved? Everyone exclaimed. Where Grovyle had stood, a sleek, powerful Sceptile now stood, its tail fanning into a leafy, jungle-like frond. Ash's Hoenn starter had reached its final form. Sceptile! Ash cheered. Go, dual chop! Dragon-like energy blades formed along Sceptile's arm leaves as it rushed forward. Mr. Yuanji's Shelgon met it head-on. Shelgon, Dragon Claw! They collided with a thunderous crash. Bang after bang echoed as the two Pokémon battered each other. After a series of devastating blows, both fighters collapsed. The referee called it. Both Shelgon and Sceptile are unable to battle. They both fainted, Xiaozhi cried. Good job, Shelgon. Mr. Yuanji recalled his Pokémon. You fought well, Sceptile. Ash gave a proud smile and recalled Sceptile too. Mr. Yuanji's eyes shone. Excellent, Ash. You've reignited my fighting spirit. I won't hold back now. He threw his next Pokeball. Altaria, I choose you. Ash matched him. Pidgeot, I choose you. A huge Pidgeot swooped onto the field as Altaria fluttered in. Ash's brow tightened. He'd expected Mr. Yuanji to bring tougher Pokemon later, but Altaria looked strong. Then Mr. Yuanji spotted something on Pidgeot, a megastone on its necklace. I'll go all out, Mr. Yuanji said calmly. He had originally planned a different lineup, but seeing Pikachu and Ash's team, he adjusted his strategy. Ash clenched his universal ring and called, Pidgeot, show our bond, Mega Evolution. The Mega Evolution chain lit up. Pidgeot transformed, growing more powerful and majestic. Mega Pidgeot appeared, crying out to the sky as raw power surged through it. Wow, Mega Evolution! Xiaozhi cheered. This is getting intense. To be continued. Chapter 100, Air Battle, Mega Pidgeot vs Altaria. Pidgeot, say hello, Air Slash. Ash struck first. Yuanji smiled and ordered, Altaria climb fast and dodge. Altaria shot upward, but the Air Slash curved and struck it anyway. What? Yuanji cried. Could it be? That's right, Ash said. Mega Pidgeot's ability is No Guard. Moves from both sides will always hit. No Guard, Yuanji frowned. What a troublesome ability. Data on Mega Evolutions was still incomplete. Information on some Mega Pokemon's abilities was even scarcer. Yuanji hadn't known about Mega Pidgeot's ability. In that case, Altaria, Dragon Pulse, he barked, abandoning fancy tactics for a direct hit. Pidgeot, show it your speed, Ash replied confidently. Rush the mast, then climb. Without any special boosting move, Mega Pidgeot rocketed toward the ship's mast at extreme speed. The green Dragon Pulse trailed behind it and smashed into the mast. Yuanji's ship had been built from top-grade materials to withstand sea Pokemon and assorted disasters, so the blast barely registered. So fast, Yuanji murmured, narrowing his eyes. And the timing's perfect. Ash really is something. Pidgeot, brave bird, Ash suddenly shouted. What? Yuanji looked up and saw Mega Pidgeot had somehow gotten behind Altaria. Altaria, protect, now! Bang! At that crucial moment, Altaria deployed a shield and blocked the attack. Incredible! Ash actually forced an Elite Four to use Protect so early. Xiaozhi admired. Altaria, Dragon Rush. Yuanji wouldn't let it go. He sent Altaria hurtling forward with a powerful Dragon-type strike. Pidgeot, Protect, Ash countered. Mega Pidgeot raised a shimmering shield and blocked the Dragon Rush. Ash's advantage evaporated. Altaria, Perish Song. Yuanji wasted no time and began Perish Song. With no guard in play, outright preventing some moves was difficult, so he wanted to end the fight quickly. Altaria sang a haunting melody that served as a death countdown. If Mega Pidgeot couldn't finish Altaria within 3 turns, they'd both be in danger. The two Pokémon battered each other back and forth. Altaria held the level advantage and landed a devastating blow that left Mega Pidgeot teetering on the edge. Ash had been waiting for this exact moment. Pidgeot, hold on. Unleash the Hyper Beam we prepared. Altaria, quick attack! Yuanji snapped, launching a preemptive strike to make sure Altaria closed the gap. What? Ash exclaimed. He hadn't expected Yuanji to see through his plan. The outcome now depended on which Pokémon was faster and could fire first. Mega Pidgeot endured the effects of Perish Song long enough to release a titanic Hyper Beam just as Altaria barreled in with Quick Attack. Boom! Smoke and dust filled the air. Everyone stared, breath held, waiting to see who would remain standing. Altaria plummeted from the sky, unable to battle. Mega Pidgeot cried out as the Mega Evolution faded. Altaria is unable to battle. Pidgeot wins! Phew, we did it! Good job, Pidgeot. Ash exhaled in relief and recalled his partner. Come back and rest. You too, Altaria. We won. That's awesome. Xiaoyao cheered. Pikachu and Eevee celebrated excitedly. This is the last one, Yuanji said, tossing a Pokeball. Salamence, go! A thunderous roar filled the air as a powerful Salamence, an Elite Four ace, appeared. Ash's expression darkened when he checked the data. Yuanji had brought out his ace. Suddenly, Ash realized Yuanji's real motive. He wanted to see Rayquaza. For a casual spar against a trainer like Ash, whose highest Pokémon outside legendaries were still below Elite Four level, such a lineup was overkill. Isn't this just a friendly match? Why bring out your ace? The crew muttered among themselves. Ash refused to risk Rayquaza in a one-on-one exhibition. Pikachu, I choose you. Pikachu. Pikachu leapt into the field, ready. Yuanji sighed, disappointed to face Pikachu, and ordered, Salamence, Dragon Claw. Pikachu, stay mobile, Thunderbolt. Pikachu nimbly dodged the first green Dragon Claw and fired a Thunderbolt, but Salamence shrugged it off and retaliated with a Dragon Pulse. The power gap showed. Pikachu was blasted away and sent flying. At that moment, the Team Rocket trio made their move. A mechanical arm snatched the airborne Pikachu, and in a smooth maneuver, they floated away in their hot air balloon. Pikachu, everyone cried. Wahaha, so generous of you, Jessie cackled. Meowth, that's right. Wobbuffet and Chimicho chimed along as they laughed. Team Rocket, give Pikachu back, Ash shouted. How could we? James sneered. What we get by our own efforts belongs to us. Stealing other people's Pokémon, Yuanji said coldly. I won't let you get away with that. He turned to Salamence. Dragon Claw. With a roar, Salamence thundered after the balloon and unleashed a green Dragon Claw that cut through the air and boxed in the trio. Salamence, Flamethrower. Send them on their way, Yuanji commanded. A towering wall of flame engulfed the balloon. Bang! It exploded, and Team Rocket was shot into the sky in their usual dramatic exit. What a nasty way to go, they cried as they soared upward. After that interruption, Ash knew he was outmatched by Yuanji and gracefully conceded. The match ended in a draw. That evening, Yuanji treated Ash and his friends to a hearty dinner and finally satisfied their curiosity by revealing Rayquaza. When he learned Ash also had a Bagon, Yuanji kindly shared tips on raising a Bagon so it could avoid unnecessary pitfalls and grow strong. To be continued.